What's going on, guys? RBP is brought to you by Manscaped, and this month they are teaming up with the Testicular Cancer Society. They're doing t-shirts, We Save Balls, and they're also doing a special Lawnmower 4.0 with the purple stripe to raise awareness. If you guys know anybody who has testicular cancer or you want to help raise awareness, go to manscaped.com, use code RBP to get 20% off and free shipping. I'll let you guys check out the site if you haven't been there. They have everything you need for men's hygiene. They also have some boxers and stuff like that. But the Lawnmower 4.0 is awesome. They have different scents like colognes and deodorants, things like that, nail kits, the nose trimmer, anything you could need to make sure you're fresh. Listen, springtime's coming around. It's going to get warmer. You want to keep yourself fresh. You want to keep yourself clean. Get to manscaped.com, use code RBP, and get 20% off, free shipping. Keep yourself straight for the warmer weather. What's going on?
How's it going?
Jamie,
you're good?
Jamie, what the fuck, man? Where you been?
Where you guys been?
I've asked you to come on the show 8 times now. You've turned me down every single time.
Yeah, this is the first time I was here like a shot. Even changed my plans for you, Gym time, training partners left me.
Well, I figured we needed to have an all UK cast. And I'm Canadian. I'm Canadian. We're still kind of part of the UK, so I fit.
Yeah, definitely. It makes sense. How's Ben?
Ben's still trying to figure out his computer.
Oh, right, okay.
I'm on. I'm good. How are you, mate?
Yeah, not too bad. It's been since the Arnold since we spoke, isn't it?
Yeah. By the way, that was a shock for me because it was the first time I think I met you in person. And I was like, what the fuck is that? Yeah. And somehow someone your size managed to find clothes that fit them really well. You're very well dressed for a 400-pound, 6'6" human being. I try.
When we get out of these gym tees, we need to make the effort, right?
But seriously, how do you do that? James, what's up, man?
Surprised to see Jamie. Hello, Jamie. Hello, Ben.
Hey, buddy.
Hello,
I thought you would enjoy that surprise, James.
That's a nice surprise. I like that. It's a very nice surprise. It feels like there's 3 Brits in here now, so I feel
that's why I planned it that way. I was like, okay, we got the UK show today.
You love us.
No, I was just talking to Jamie about how the fuck he finds clothes that fit because at the Arnold's he was so well dressed. And most people like my size can't find clothes to fit, and then you got the giant over here.
You got this fucking thing.
How are you?
He looked like he needed shoehorning in that t-shirt though. Those arms were. That was snug. That was a snug t-shirt.
No, things were tight, but they look good though. It doesn't like it.
Yeah.
I've asked Father Sons if they can make 5XLs for me, but they didn't reply. So,
dude, those don't count. I got Father Sons 4XL, and it's not 4XL. You're gonna need like a Father Sons 8XL if they make one.
That's hard for sure.
Let me see if I can find your photo here, Jamie. Do you have any photos from the Arnold on your Instagram?
Yeah, there'll be some where I'm like trolling on the outside trying to get the angle.
Here it is. Here's one where you made me look like a little boy. That's right.
Makes everyone look like a little boy.
Look at this. I look like I don't even work out.
Jamie done those angles there, bro.
Okay, now.
Seriously though, look at you got like the shirt. Ben's right is obviously really tight, but the pants. How'd you find pants? Like are those tailored pants?
They were lucky. They were just off ASOS, which is a site in the UK, but it was like
really
the section, big and tall. So I just dropped lucky.
You got lucky, eh?
Yeah.
What's going on with you, man? How you been? We haven't talked to you in a little while.
Yeah, I'm good. I'm just when I was at the Arnold's, that was the heaviest I was, and before then, I think if I didn't go to the Arnold's, I would have made 350. When I went to the Arnold's, I was 342.
Yeah,
and I came back 335. So, I mean, how you guys like traveled in the past and kept your weight and stuff? It must be such a challenge.
Look at this stylish motherfucker. You have the pinstripe pants.
Wait, he's not. He ain't 350 there. That's a
Louis Vuitton belt. Louis Vuitton belt there. Look.
That's a different Jamie though. That's a slim giant. Look.
That's contest prep Jamie. Look, he's pulling that shit off. Look at the Louis belt shit.
The pants on the other photo don't fit anymore.
Let me ask you.
I gotta say this though, you gotta get a different outfit now. Because that's the blue pants and the black t-shirt twice now in 2 separate events.
That's how limited I am, though. You know, I can find clothes, but I'm like 1 in a million.
Let me ask you guys though, because we're so limited for clothes, do you find yourself when you go to a department store or something, you're always looking at belts and shoes and like
things
shit
you can get.
shit that you that you can buy? Yeah.
For fuck's sake. Yeah.
Wait, I'm excited now. If I get
Pants and socks.
If I drop weight, I'm gonna be like, I got
Yeah.
clothes I can fit back in.
I was thinking the same thing. I'm like, if I drop like 10 or 20 more pounds, I can start buying shit off the rack that fits like
That's nice, man. Imagine just be able to go like proper clothes shopping and just be like, yeah, man, that looks sick. I'm buying it off the rack. Like, you haven't been able to do that for years. Like, just going to like one of these really nice. There's so many like fashionable stores that have like these products that are like only like kind of in that one shop.
Yeah.
So you can get really custom stuff and be like, you know.
I used to wear a lot of I used to wear a lot of All Saints stuff in the UK.
Yes, stuff like that.
I love that shit.
As soon as you hit like 220 pounds, you're like,
yeah.
They have an All Saints in Yorkdale, the mall in Toronto. I like that. I like everything in there. But it's like that. That's exactly the kind of store I was thinking of in my head. It's like shit could say 2XL, but it's a 2XL for like, I don't know, it's like a 200-pound guy. It's not really 2XL.
It's weird, isn't it? When did extra large not mean extra large?
It's European sizing. It's your guys' fault. North American sizing is bigger. It's the European.
To be fair,
sizing.
yeah, it's true. It's true. That is, I accept responsibility for
that. Very big of you, James.
Thank you, James.
I take the weight of a whole nation. I take the weight of a whole nation.
Yeah, James, because on the rack in the UK they stop at like XL. I don't think there's even 2XLs in some shops.
Yeah.
It's stupid.
So, Jamie, you got a new sponsor?
Yes, obviously a fellow Canadian company. I mean, I put a lot of fucking pressure on you, and it didn't work out, so I had to go somewhere else.
I've signed everybody, man. I got like, I'm tapped out.
I even had a chat with Brett and Ivana in March, and says, "You guys best fuck off and make space for me."
Oh, is that why they left? You scared them, eh? You're like...
Very joking. No, in a very, very good position. I kind of fell in with a very good company. They've been established a long time, and we just went to FIBO together, and that was a chance, like, really to get to know everyone within the company, and it went really well. So
I think it suits. It's very fitting because they needed a mutant. They haven't had a mutant for a while, and you are kind of all senses of the word, you know.
So you're with Mutant now, and I saw some of your stuff from FIBO. It looked like you guys were having a good time.
It was good, man. Yeah, we. I mean, Ron's obviously been with them a long time, but he's a great guy within the industry as well. Dusty wasn't there because I don't think he's had his vax, but he can travel like within the US, obviously.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a great time. FIBO was a bit weird because I went down with the expectation of it being like the biggest expo in the world.
Yeah.
But because it was the first one post-COVID, it was a bit
underwhelming.
Yeah, it was a bit subdued because I don't think many exhibitors has the confidence to kind of go.
Yeah.
Have you been to FIBO previously, or was that your first one?
That was the first one, and the guys that have been previously said it was a lot smaller. Some of the
it's carnage normally. They're the upstairs and the downstairs, the basement bit, and it's like, I didn't even know that lower level existed until like the second day.
Wow.
And then we went down there. I was like, what the fuck? There's a whole nother expo hall downstairs.
I couldn't believe the size of it because growing up, like in bodybuilding, everybody's like, oh, the Arnold. And then when I signed with SciTech, I went over to FIBO and I'm like, holy fuck, this is like 6 Arnolds.
Yeah.
It's like there's 6 halls or more the size of the Arnold, and every hall is devoted to something different. It's like one is for exercise equipment, one is for supplements, one is for like it's just totally
I didn't even go in the equipment hall. Like we looked at it and we're like, fuck. I'm like,
it's just too much shit. You can't, there's no way you can get to everything in like that weekend. It's insane.
That's cool.
So your off season's going well, everything's going good, Jamie?
Yeah, I like to do things a little bit different. So, I mean, I think me and James have both put our names in the hat for the Arnold UK, which must be about 20 weeks because I start prepping 4 weeks because I'm actually going to Mexico on the 20th of May. So I'm going for 10 days of all you can eat before I start prep.
Oh, that sounds amazing. When is
that's
it?
That's the kind of thing you do, right?
I haven't been on a vacation like that. Man, the last time me and Summer went on a vacation, like a real vacation, not just like a weekend away,
Yeah.
Probably 2014. Like it's been a long fucking time. But we want to plan something this year. I'm just trying to find the right time. But yeah, I want to go to like a resort with an all you can eat and all you can drink and just fucking have a good time. Does Jamie drink when he goes to those places?
No, I've not had a drink for like 4 or 5 years. The thing is, the missus doesn't drink either.
Oh, that makes it harder.
I think if she did,
yeah,
I might be swayed quite easily.
Yeah, you can't drink by yourself. That's kind of fucked up.
Yeah.
Well, you can, but
yeah, then you're an alcoholic.
You'll end up on a bench somewhere.
I'll get a mess real quick as well.
What did you message me, Jamie? You messaged me something about something we were talking about on the last podcast. You're always watching and then giving me your but
yeah. Well, you was on about the tits, and I felt like you was on your own a bit.
I just found the message. Yeah, Jamie was messaging me to show support because he watched the Tits podcast.
Yeah.
And he felt like I was out on an island by myself. And all
we weren't with you.
You weren't with me.
Jamie, when that happens, leave him on the fucking island, mate. Just leave him out there.
No, I love it.
Jamie agrees with me. He's in the same boat.
Yeah, but no, it doesn't matter. Even if you do agree with him, don't tell him that.
Why?
Okay. I actually messaged James after the podcast as well, and I said, James, I just wish I could see the tits because I want to share them.
You know how many messages I got like that because I put the cover over? I had to though, or I couldn't fucking post it. I think it was actually funnier with us talking about it and not being.
I think it was because like I watched it back and I was just like, actually, it made me laugh because I was like, we're just going on about something you just can't see. It's brilliant.
Let's go watch this.
I've just been saying they're ridiculous, and I'm like, well, how big are they?
Like, what's ridiculous?
You haven't seen them? You haven't seen it, Ben?
I don't.
You don't. I know you don't watch it. Yeah.
And so I miss out on stuff, and I feel like I should start watching them now. And
so Justin
up with it.
Justin brought it up because he's trying to fucking. He brought up our moment at your house when we were looking.
Well, that's what I thought of. That's what I thought of when you first mentioned it. Right.
Yeah. So then he was like him, James, and was it Nick? No, who was on? Ian. Him, Ian, and James were like, call me fucking crazy because they thought, so I brought up the tits and we started looking at them.
I didn't call you that crazy. Them two said that you're not. Well, Justin clearly said that you're still not giving true colours on how much you actually love tits and the extremities of the tits. Whatever.
So see, that's the thing. It's the extreme.
Apparently,
Fouad lives in the extremes of things.
apparently, what he showed us.
But the thing is, when you argue back and you're like, well, he takes it to the other extreme. So you're like, well, I don't like him that big. And he's like, so you like these then? And he finds like fucking little nipples on a.
You said you like those.
I'm like, that's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying I don't want them bigger than I don't want them out here and here.
Jamie, how big is too big? Is there such a thing?
Big fella. Jamie can handle a lot of tit.
I'm saying for Jamie, is there such a thing? Because Jamie's humongous.
Jamie's huge. There's a lot of tit that can go with Jamie.
I think if you can't hug them and like fit your arms around, maybe that's
your
too big.
wingspan's like 100 inches as well. So
that's the
serious fucking.
That's where Jamie draws the line. If I can't put my arms around you, your tits are too big.
And she's like a size 10, but these huge tits.
That's the thing as well. She has to be slim, but it's got to be big.
But I like proportions, so I like them big. But they have to suit her frame. If she's petite and they're like falling off of her.
I like disproportion.
He loves disproportion.
Yeah.
He likes wellness upper body.
Disproportionate ass, disproportionate tits. Disproportion is the way to go. I don't want anything. Proportion is boring.
Well, it's Fouad Abiad's proportion.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
it's normal to you.
I like it.
Yeah.
Just another thing to bring up as well, because I wanted to question Iain about this, but I've been trying to work out in my head that if you don't think something's gay, and it's not gay.
It's weird. It's a weird one, that conversation.
I don't think I could shag a bloke for a month, and if in my head I'm saying it's not gay, then convince myself at the end of the month I'm still not gay.
You're still not gay. Iain thinks he can. Iain thinks he can literally have sex with a man for a year until he says he's gay. He's still not.
That was an interesting one.
I understand Ian's point of view in theory, but not in reality.
But in practice.
Yeah.
It doesn't wash.
Anyway. So Jamie, you got a new sponsor. You got getting ready for the Arnold's. Anything else going on? Nothing else new?
Not really, no. Apart from this has probably been spoken about far too much, but I'm off cycle at the minute, and that means I'm on 250 milligrams of test a week before everyone says not off cycle.
So you're not off cycle. You're just cruising.
I'm cruising, yeah. But for weeks, and I'll be honest. I'm always like really honest, and probably sometimes too honest. 10 weeks is the longest I've had off in about 3 years.
How's it feel?
It feels good. My appetite's better. My breathing's a lot better. When I was heavy, I think it was down to the weight as well as perhaps the long cycle, but my breathing was terrible, especially in training. Like I was having near on panic attacks after sets. So that's a massive bonus at the minute. I think mentally we know that if food's in check, training's in check, sleep's in check, and all these other things, we can have these periods of time off. And that's what I've been trying to kind of educate the younger guys on as well, because I think you can become addicted to being on cycle quite easily.
Oh, fuck yeah. Totally.
Especially with the pressures of social media now, it's more so than when we was like kind of coming up.
For me, it's not for me, it's not even social media. For me, I just get addicted to the feeling of training.
Yeah.
Like the feeling of like, I'm natural now. Like, well, when I sporadically do a fucking shot, like once every 3 weeks, but training now is not like training when you're fucking full on. And that's the part that I would get addicted to. I don't care what anybody else looks like. I just miss the feeling of like that massive pump or being really swole. Cause I don't feel like, or even just the ease of which you can lift weight. Like, I can still bench. I can still bench 3 plates, but benching 3 plates now feels harder than benching 3 plates when you're on, right? So it's like there's all of that shit going on that makes it hard.
That's where I think, and sorry to interrupt.
No, go ahead.
That's where I think the guys that are currently in the mix of it, when you do take these breaks, which are important, don't use as an excuse to back off your training. Like, bridge the gap with effort, and remember, like, I'm off everything now, and I went back to training, and for a long time before I made the decision to pull everything out, I had this anxiety because I'm like, well, everything's done, everything's over. I'm not gonna be able to squat like I can't lift heavy anymore. I'm gonna look like shit, and I was putting all of these like mental anguishes on myself before I'd even got there. Once I decided to pull the plug, I took like a few days off of the gym, pulled the plug, and when I went back into, and obviously I know there's still some shit in my system, right? I'm not like, it's still facing,
of course,
now. But the mentality, the switch has to be there to be like, fuck it, I don't need that. Like I was like relying on it, right? And I notice, if I think back on it, there'd be times where I took breaks like 2-3 years ago, and in between, I'd be like, okay, well, I'm only coming off for 6 weeks, so I'll just almost go through the motions, right? And then when I get, I kind of convinced myself mentally I was still pushing. But when I went back on cycle, like the first day, like I'd put a jab in that morning. I'd walk in the gym and I'd be like, okay, fucking load this.
It's another level,
fucking go. And I'm like, why should that make a difference? It's not in my system. Like I put it in like an hour ago. It's not, but it's this mental thing that we have as bodybuilders, and I called it an addiction. We do have that addiction to it.
Yeah,
like you can't deny that. Like obviously, there's different types of addiction. You know, there's the chemistry side of things, but then the mental. You can become addicted to anything. Like it's a habit.
Also, the addiction to, you've established a persona to the public, and you feel that if you don't do those things, then you're no longer that person, and you're fearful of losing your public audience.
Well, that's what I've been going through for the last year, right? Like retiring after being Fouad the bodybuilder for 20 years, and then retiring, you're like, who the fuck am I all of a sudden? Right? You're like, I'm not Fouad the bodybuilder anymore, right? But as going back to Ben's point, I realized the other day we were training legs, and it's taken me some time to realize it, but it's kind of slowly, gradually came in, is the weight is, you lift it in a different way when you're natural, but I can still train hard. Like the other day we did legs, I did 6 plates on the hack squat, I did fucking 7 plates on the machine squat, I did 9 plates on the leg press. Like I'm not that much weaker than I was when I was fucking full blast.
You have to bear in mind the years of which you've developed the muscle. as well. You know, our history, all of us here have a history of lifting. So even if you take away anabolics now, there is still going to be more than someone who hasn't trained for that period of time.
But I'm just going.
There is.
Sorry, Ben. I'm just going to Ben's thought though, because we instinctually, and I'm not saying just we, like guys in general, like, you know, lifters in general think once the gear comes out,
that's it.
All of it's going to go away.
Yeah.
And even though rationally, what you said, James, is 100% right, and we know that.
Oh, but we don't process like that.
You still think it, even when it comes out, you're like, wait a minute, am I still going to be able to squat? Like in Ben's case, am I still going to be able to squat 6 or 7 plates? Like that's a thought that enters your head. It makes it hard.
Here's the thing,
to take a break.
Yeah.
I don't know exactly if there's doing studies on it. I was watching Mark Bell's podcast. You know Mark Bell, the powerlifter.
Yeah. And
they were talking that he had someone else on there, and I believe.
So you watch Mark's podcast, but you don't watch mine. Okay, that's cool. Go on.
Yeah, I get you fucking calling me all the fucking time. I don't need to go and watch you.
I'm just joking. Fuck off. Go on.
I'm not joking. You fuck off. Anyway, so the I don't know if there's research based on this, but the amount of strength you gain, like, because they were talking to a natural powerlifter who was years and years and years of powerlifting, and then he eventually went on to a cycle, and he's like, actually, my lifts did not improve that much. Like in my head, like you had this perception, and I did the same thing when I was natural, because I body built and trained and lifted up until I was, I think, 25, maybe 24, until I started. I think my lifts were pretty heavy. I mean, I was squatting 5 or 6 plates. I was deadlifting 7 plates naturally. Yeah. And in my head, I'm like, well, as soon as I jab, I'm going to be like fucking squatting super 9 strong, plates. I'm going to fucking, and it has more of an impact on size than it does strength. I think that's a big misconception that a lot of natural guys have as well. It's like, actually, you don't get crazy strong. Like you get, obviously, don't be wrong, the bigger you get there's strength gains that come with that, but it's not linear, you know. It's not as much as you would imagine. You're going to get more. Basically, what you're saying is you're going to get more size out of it than you are strength. Like if you had 2 levels going and then you all of a sudden started gear, the size is going to go strength. And the strength, like, it's very marginal what you can, if you've been training naturally and you're maxing out your strength, putting gear in, it doesn't all of a sudden just open the floodgates, but size, it will do that. See, I don't know if you guys agree with that. No, I do. I felt a big strength gain because I started gear almost at the same time I started bodybuilding. So I never realized how strong I could get naturally. And I only did that because I was competing right away. So like it was all together. I was the same. So I never really got a chance to experiment with how strong I could get naturally. Yeah. But I do agree that it makes sense. Like you could probably get pretty close. Like if my best bench ever was 550, I probably could have done 400 naturally or something. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like I probably could have got close. I mean, I put parameters on it. Like I've actually got a video from 9 years ago. I had 6 plate deadlift. I pulled it for 11 reps and I weighed 210 pounds naturally. I can't deadlift that much more now relative to how much weight I've put on and how much drugs I've taken. Like it's not that much greater. Jamie, why if you want to explain, I don't know if you don't have to, if you don't want to, but why have you waited 3 years to take a break?
Well, there was obviously small breaks in between. So what I typically do before is I'd probably go like 20 weeks on, 4 to 6 weeks off. Yeah. And at that point I'm at now where things start to ache a bit more after training, the DOMs are more severe, and you start to maybe get that little mental dip. Yeah. I just go back on. But that fall in line as well with the mental aspect of after 4 weeks, I get my bloods checked. So I wasn't completely mindless. Yeah. And that was almost like a tick in the box, health check done, let's get back on. Wow, we're so much alike, Jamie. Later on in my career, when I hit like 35, 36, that's what I was doing. I would do a long cycle, stop. I would cruise for like 4 to 6 weeks. I would get my blood work done. Blood work's good. Cool. Time to go back on, which is totally the wrong shit to do. Yeah, definitely. I don't know whether you was the same reasoning for me, but I kind of feel like I'm running out of time to be where I need to be in terms of size. Yeah. And that's where it's led.
Yeah.
So we had the same conversation with Justin, right, in my kitchen.
Yeah.
We're like, look, there's the perfect way to do things, but look where you're at right now. Like he was later, he
he's
kind of got to the
34.
pro ranks.
Yeah.
He's 34.
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't think you have. If you're dead set on making something of this, you don't have time to be that patient.
Yeah.
But there's a flip side. You know, it's a compromise. But
well, just to put it in context for about what Ben's saying about the conversation with Justin, we were talking about pushing food, and Justin said he wanted to do things in a more healthy way, so he was going to try and stay a little bit leaner and just push clean food, which is also a good strategy. But like Ben just said, it's a great strategy when you're 25, not 35, because now how many years do you have to actually compete? So Justin's going to have to play that juggling act where he's like, how much do I want to push the food, and how fast do I want to grow versus how healthy do I want to stay? And then all that becomes part of the formula.
At no point was I trying to influence
I know
Justin's decision, but we were just discussing.
We were just having a conversation.
There's a compromise, and there's always a repercussion to a decision, right?
Yeah.
So you do things the healthier way. Okay, you might get there a little slower. That's the repercussion. You go a little more aggressive, you're now putting some other things at risk. And that's where, as bodybuilders, we have to weigh up. And like Jamie, you're in that situation where you're like, I don't have time. So,
but just so, for people listening that are in their, beginning or intermediate stages of bodybuilding, Jamie, you probably haven't lost much taking that 10 weeks off, have you? Like, have you lost a lot of weight or a lot of strength or a lot of size, or you feel like it's marginal, it'll come back probably like that?
Yeah, it's very marginal. I think it'll come back very quickly when I get back on a cycle, even at the start of prep, because food will still be relatively high, right?
Yeah.
I think the main reason for the weight drop is the traveling.
Yeah.
I was on the cycle, I still would have dropped the weight. Perhaps I've not gained it back as quick without the cycle in place, but it's not really changed much. Like you say, slight dip in strength, more aches. That's about it.
So the only thing, and Ben, you can correct me if I'm wrong, or James, or Jamie, when you do take these breaks, say 10-week break or whatever amount of time you're going to take, we're basically saying that you should keep your training intense and make up for the fact that you're not on. But the only thing I would say, and you should lower volume, correct? Like we're not telling people to go off cycle and keep their training, keep all of their training exactly the same. Like you should bring your volume down.
Yeah. Go on.
Go ahead. No, go ahead. That's it. I'm good.
So that's exactly that. So if you were, the way I set people's training up, there's always like heavy loading, and then there's some time and attention work. I would look to reduce the time and attention work.
Yeah.
And also you have to then look at individual recovery, like
wait a minute,
recoverability.
Wait a minute, Ben, before you go on. So when you say heavy loading versus normal or whatever,
I'll make it up.
Yeah, I'm just going to say, so the person going in, how many sets to failure would they do when they're on versus how many sets to failure would they do when they're off? Let's just say that to give people an idea.
For instance, if they were doing 12 true working sets, right? I might still keep it at 12, but 6 of those that would ordinarily have intensity techniques like drop sets or Widowmakers, I might check those back and just call them straight sets.
Sure.
Right. So that now the overall, because probably the biggest benefit you get from being on a cycle is your ability to recover, right? That's probably the widely most accepted thing we have. So you have to mitigate that side of things, either incorporate more rest days or pull back on how low you're digging that hole, right? Because when you're full blasting, when Jamie's blasting food and blasting cycle, he can bury himself in the gym and know that he has that support to recover enough to go again. When you check that back a little bit, and that's why, like when I coach natural bodybuilders, sometimes the workout layout looks a little different. It's because they can't go quite as there's not that safety net to push volume as much.
It's kind of like right now when I'm training. Like that's why that leg workout I posted a little while ago, I said I was taking a page out of Ben's book. And it's kind of what I want to do moving forward, because obviously with some kidney issues, it's not good to be destroying my body in the gym. So what I figured was I'm going to do a lot of feeders like you guys do, like, 2, 3, 4, 5 reps. And then just one one all-out set, not two, no intensity techniques, just one set to failure, and then that's it. So technically, like in my workout, my leg workout, if you counted them, I think I had like 5 working sets in the whole leg day. And my legs are destroyed right now. They're sore, which they probably shouldn't be because it's not a good thing for me. But like, I think basically what I'm saying is as somebody who's cruising or natural, that would be my recommendation, is just get that one failure set in and move on instead of doubling up on them or adding intensity techniques.
But Jamie, and you're more of a volume guy, right? You don't necessarily.
Yeah. So my way of doing it with Milos, you know what he's like? He's a bit crazy. He says, I want to still make you train like an asshole. And that's his exact words. So if we are struggling for recovery, we'll perhaps put an extra day of recovery in there, so an extra rest day. So for this weekend, for example, instead of just resting Sunday, I took the 2 days off.
Oh, so you normally train 6 days a week?
No, I have Wednesdays and Sundays off normally. So
this week you took 3 days off.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
But again, you're
that's a good way to do it too. Yeah.
You're achieving the same thing, right? You're checking total volume for the week is coming down.
Yeah,
definitely.
James, what's going on with you, man? You've been pretty quiet. What's new?
I'm just chilling, listening.
How are you enjoying the Telegram thing we're doing? So me and James are doing this. If you guys have heard of the Telegram app, me and James are on Telegram in Evan Senapani's. It's called Senapani's Circles, and it's me, James, Lee, Jose,
Chris
Antoine, Chris Tuttle, and Evan. I believe that's everybody.
Yeah, I think that's everyone.
And it's just an ongoing group chat, pretty much, right?
Just literally, it's just a way to catch up with you. It's another way to catch up with your friends within the industry. You know, like it's quite nice because I feel like I can actually bond a little bit more with certain people that I didn't really talk to as much before. Like Chris, I know, and I used to watch a lot of Chris's stuff on YouTube when I was prepping because I found him very, very easy to watch and very understandable. I used to like a lot of his kind of methods, but now like I get to converse with him, and I like how he talks. I like him as a person, so it's great for me as an insider because I get to talk to the people I like to talk to.
I noticed that you are enamored by Lee Priest.
Because me and Lee get on really well. I don't know why. I don't know. We just get on really well. Like he's got cats, I've got cats. Like we're a cat. You know, like I don't know. We just hit off all right. I just get on with Lee. I don't know. He just seems to be someone I just gel with.
You guys are,
I do find
it's very respectful.
Yeah,
I find British and Australian people get on really well.
Yeah,
that might be what it is.
The sense of humor and the mentality is very similar.
It sounds like it when I listen to James and Lee talking.
Lee's very sarcastic, and I love it.
It feels like they have a very similar. They're different people, but there's something similar about them. I know what you're saying, Ben.
Like Lee's the kind of guy that I'll go to my friend RJ's house to watch a film, and then I'll get a random video comes through from Lee, just like saying nothing. I don't even know what, and then I'm like, all right, well, I better reply, show him what I'm doing. He's very in touch. Like he likes to have a chat. So I don't know. I feel like I've got a good friendship with Lee because of the opportunity we've had with this Telegram thing.
I'm shocked at how much Lee is on there.
He loves it. He fucking loves it. You can tell. He's like the first person awake he gets up in whatever time in Australia, and then he's latest to bed. Like he stays awake to like stay in touch.
And why the fuck does everybody get up at 4 a.m? What the fuck is this?
I don't know, mate. I don't do that no more. I used to do that.
So Ben and Jamie, these guys, Evan, Chris, Lee, and I think Jose too, right?
They're all like 4 a.m.
They all get up at like 4 or 5 in. I'm like, what the fuck?
Okay.
Wait.
I've got a young kid, so Jamie's probably the same, right?
Oh no, I'm like 8:30 at the minute.
Same. I'm the same.
Okay.
Ben, how early do you get up?
This morning I was up at 5:30.
But is that because Phoenix wakes you up, or you just get up at 5?
No, he got up at 6:30. I got up and did an hour of work and had a call. The house was dead. No.
This time.
It was, I get to sit out in that, I sat in my recliner with my laptop and coffee, and I went boom, 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 boom. Once he wakes up, I put my laptop down, and then when he woke up before Denise, so I get like an hour with him, give him a bottle, chill with him. But if I get that hour, my alarm is set for 6:30, but if I wake up, I'll go and start.
Do some work. Yeah.
I don't know. 6:20 for a piss. I'm getting back in bed till 5:30, and then I'm
absolutely. I snoozed 50 times. I literally snoozed like 20 times in a row.
You know what? I've seen. Sorry, Fouad. I've seen.
Go ahead.
On that Telegram, he mentioned something that resonated with me a lot, and I don't know if you guys are the same. But isn't it great in prep when you're actually excited to wake up and get out of bed.
Yeah.
And that's when you're the most productive, when you get up super early, wake up before your alarm, and you're kind of on it.
Like, let's go, let's get the fucking day done.
It's only great for a certain period of time, though. So this is what I mean. So let's say normally I get up at like 9 o'clock, right?
Yeah.
As I'm prepping, I'll start to get up earlier, like 8 o'clock, then 7 o'clock. I'm happy around 6 or 7 o'clock, right? But then when I'm really hungry, I'm up at fucking 3 in the morning.
Yeah. And you'll wait like 7 hours to do that first meal.
And your stomach's went.
I'll go down, I'll check emails, I'll go do cardio, and I'll wait till like 8 or 9 o'clock to have my breakfast because I don't want to stretch out my day, right?
Yeah.
So like,
you want to eat late enough that you can go to bed.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. You don't want all your meals to be done.
If you start early, you finish early, and then you're fucked.
Like if I have my breakfast at 5 a.m., I'm gonna have my last meal at 6 p.m. I got to go to bed at 7.
Yeah, it's fine.
So it's not doesn't work.
But that's fine. You can just do that, and then every day gets like 2 hours earlier. And then
you're back to square one.
You get back around again. And
go all the way back around.
Extra.
You've earned a day or whatever.
Yeah. So, Jamie, you follow that Telegram thing?
Yeah, I'm on it. I just I spend half the day trying to catch up on what I've missed.
I'm so shocked when I hear like our peers following us. It just is that strange for you, James?
No, because I would do the same with like Jay. Like because I know him personally. I don't know if I'd follow some other people, but like people I know on a personal level, definitely. Yeah.
Like Jamie, I don't know. Like Jamie, when you message me about the podcast because you've watched it, I'm always like flattered and shocked because I'm like, I don't think our peers watch the podcast. I figure it's like people outside of the sport that probably watch the podcast.
No, I think this podcast is one of the ones that I would say more of people involved within bodybuilding watch.
Yeah. Definitely.
Ben, do you follow any of this? Like, do you watch people's YouTube channels and like follow like?
No, I used to. I just don't. I don't have the time now. My main thing that I watch is mixed martial arts when I'm off. Yeah. When I shut everything down, I get some time.
Yeah.
I just don't have the time. I remember like 4 years ago when I was in my apartment in London. Yeah, I'd watch like
bodybuilding stuff.
I'd just sit at YouTube and there'd be bodybuilding stuff, and I would eat a meal and just watch it. I fucking do not have with my workload, and then anytime that I don't have work, I want to spend with Phoenix. If Phoenix is in bed, then I want to spend with Denise. So and she's sure shit not watching you guys.
Yeah.
No. Yeah,
Summer can't watch his shit. Sometimes I'll be like, look at this part. Fucking James said something hilarious, or guy said something hilarious.
Not even interested.
I don't want to watch it. You guys are. She'll be. These are fucking idiots.
Denise will watch the what's the Instagram, the bodybuilding and bollocks.
Yeah.
She'll watch those and then like laugh at those because they're like snips, like funny.
Yeah.
But I'm kind of glad that she doesn't watch any of it as well because it means I can just like
say whatever you want.
I'm not worried about.
I got in trouble for last week, by the way.
Did you?
Because Summer was like, "So what kind of tits were you looking at?" It's like, fuck.
I've got a story to tell today.
What? Tell us.
An important story.
Yeah, tell us.
So for the first time in my 6-year relationship with Yannicka, she said that I went 6th gear.
You went too far.
No, I went 6th gear in.
What's 6th gear? In the bedroom?
Yeah.
What does that mean?
Yeah. That means I've gone up a gear.
It means he's been sandbagging for 6 years.
That means I'm normally,
not giving it your all.
No. And then, the other day I decided.
He top setted her.
I did.
So why did you wait 6 years to show her?
I don't know. I don't know. But I done the duty, and then I went off, and she was like, "Fucking hell, you just went 6th gear." And I was like, I didn't know how to take it, and I was really like flattered. I was like, "Fucking hell, that's cool." Because I've got 6. I didn't know.
I've never heard that saying. I got to make a T-shirt out of that now.
Oh, make 6th gear. Like
she said, "James, bring me a cup of tea and an ice pack. You went too hard."
Literally, that's when you know you did the job.
What did you do? Tell us what you did differently.
I held my breath and just went in as much as I literally just absorbed as much oxygen as I could, and I was like, okay, I don't mind if I faint during this. So,
you're going all.
Yeah. I was like, this, you have to.
I told you, he's got that squat mentality. Yeah. And he went fuck it.
It was like when you've already failed on squat pretty much, and then you go back up to the top, and you're like, I literally did that, and then I just went, And I kid you not, like fucking hell, like I maybe got another 30 seconds out of it, and I was like, yes, that was the sixth gear. So
why? I want to know why.
Yannick was like, don't tell them, and I was like, I better tell them.
Oh, for sure, you got to tell everybody. That's amazing.
It's fucking so important to me. It's a life-changing moment.
Why did I want to know why? I wanted to know why you waited so long to give her the best.
Because I'm happy in fifth.
Yeah, it's easy.
You're
cruising
fifth. Yeah, man.
The problem is,
I wouldn't even say fifth. I wouldn't even say fifth is cruising, but I'm probably happy in fourth. If I'm honest.
No, here's the problem. That's the new expectation.
I know. Now you're gonna have to do it all the time.
Now she's being all nice.
Fifth was like, you're like, oh, I can hit fifth on a regular.
Yeah,
she's been a lot.
Sixth, she's like, oh,
Ben, she's been a lot nicer to me since.
Okay, but how often? Let me ask you this: how often? I've hit sixth a couple times. How often can you hit sixth? Because it's not a thing you can do every time.
If I do that 300 pounds a couple more times, I'm dead. I swear down, bro. No joke. She was like, I was worried about you.
My wife has done that too. We'll be done, and I'll be like, after we're done, she'll be like, she'll wait a few minutes and be like, "Are you okay?" I'm like, "Yeah, okay. I just need a minute."
I've had that one. she was like, "Are you okay? You were on bottom." I'm like, "Yeah."
Imagine that. Imagine getting like out of breath on the bottom. That's
bottom.
That's when you know.
Yeah.
So anyway, I just wanted to share that because I thought that was like.
That's amazing. Can you tell us? Can you give us a little bit of a hint about what you did to go? You just went harder and faster, or you did something special?
I grew it like I was trying to pull my fingers into the human body, and I twisted slightly, just about 23 degrees.
Okay.
And I just arched over a bit more than normal.
I'm gonna try that. 23 degrees.
And I was like, okay.
That'll be the symbol for this t-shirt. It'll be 6.
Yeah, I'll say this. I was selfless in the act because I would say for me that it isn't as good because I prefer slower sex, if I'm honest.
Yeah.
But I was like, you know what? Put yourself aside for once here, lad. Do the greater good.
For once.
Yeah, for once. So I did. So it was basically the reason this takes so long is because the first time I've not been selfish.
So okay, wait a minute. So in your relationship, you're the one that likes the slow and sexy.
I do. Like
Annika's the one that wants it like crazy.
Clearly,
yeah.
Because I get a lot out of like a bit of slow. Because to be fair, like I said to you boys before, I ain't lasting that long these days. Yeah,
so you're like the slow look in the eyes, take your time.
Not even a look in the eyes. I like a fucking tongue deep down the throat and slow. There's got to be a bit of both. Man. It's like I'll be quite rough up. Like from here up, I'm really rough, and then from down there, I'm quite like gentle.
Okay.
So everyone knows now how I like sex.
Jamie, how often do you hit sixth gear?
Oh man, these days not very often. I'm like panic attack material after the working sets in the gym and after the working sets in the bedroom.
What is it? You know what? I'm curious about that. Not to get off topic of sex because it's hilarious, but Paul has these panic attacks sometimes in the gym too. What do you think that is? Because actually, and the only reason I want to bring it up too is I got a couple messages from people about it because I think Paul said something about it on a podcast.
Yeah.
What do you think that? First of all, can you explain to people what the feeling is and what you think it is? So how does it happen?
We're talking about something serious now, Yannicka. Don't get involved. Wait, we're talking about something serious. Sorry. Ask for some water. Sorry, Jay, let's go.
Go ahead, Jamie.
Yes, it's always when it's heavyweight. So I find that the heavier the load gets, right, the harder it is to control your breathing.
Yeah.
So when it's like maximal exertion, the breathing does somewhat go out the window. So you finish your set, and then it's like heart starts beating faster, signals going to your brain. I've not got enough oxygen. I need to breathe faster. And then you're breathing too fast and you feel like you're not getting enough air in. And it's in
so and you start panicking up here. You're like, what if something happens? I can't breathe. And it gets worse.
Yeah. So I have to like kind of walk around the gym.
Yeah.
I have to take my clothes off. It's weird. I have to take my clothes off.
You feel claustrophobic.
Yeah, you feel like you're claustrophobic in your own clothes. Yeah, it's strange.
Paul, sometimes when it happens to Paul, so my gym, there's like a back door that just goes outside. So I'll just open the back door, but go outside and get some fresh air. So he'll do a set.
I don't know why I'm laughing because I can just see Paul walking off from the going outside the gym. I don't know why.
I've actually laughed at him while he's been doing it. But
I don't know.
No, Paul, you go and make a friend from a random stranger and be off going fucking making mates.
Yeah.
That's what he's like.
I just open the back door for him and tell him go outside, get some fresh air. And he does that for a little while. He's actually got an inhaler now that he like, he'll puff on. If it gets too bad, he'll like take a shot of his inhaler.
Yeah.
My friend gets these. My friend gets the same issue.
Really, eh?
Yeah.
So what the same?
Go ahead, Ben. Sorry.
I was going to ask Jamie, is it the same when you're down like in a contest prep and you're lean, or is it correlate with your body weight?
So
it's a lot better when I'm lighter ball.
Anyway, something's ticking Fouad off.
No, I thought he was going to say when he was down, like on his
on his missus, down on your missus. Still cost the phone.
Why do you have to lower the tone? We're the British guys are here.
I thought he was going to say when you're going down on your girl.
Oh my god, that could happen though. That could happen.
Yeah, it gets worse when he's down on his girl.
Okay, sorry. Go on with the original question. I'm an idiot sometimes.
So when I've like spoke to other people about it, it may have a correlation to blood thickness.
With what?
Blood thickness, velocity of blood.
Okay.
So one thing I've been trying to do is let blood regular, because my hemoglobin's always high, always has been. And I think this time I let blood, I might just be under 170. So we'll see if that helps things. But I think just from an anxiety perspective, getting certain numbers in control, doing cardio in your off season and feeling fitter so you don't panic. Yeah. Knowing that you're unfit and overweight is obviously going to just make the feelings come on quicker and worse, I guess.
Do you think, Jamie, doing maybe some high intensity cardio would help you get used to the feeling? Not right away, Ben, but like slowly increasing it so you can get used to the feeling of your heart beating faster? Because I know,
I wouldn't.
Listen, the reason I'm saying that is this. Part of his anxiety is not rational. So like, as he said, his heart will start to beat, but then he'll panic and he'll start to feel more anxious. So what I'm saying is if you can get yourself into that state on your own, you might feel less panicky about your heart beating faster.
My honest opinion on this, sorry, Jamie, to interrupt, is that's a big man with a heart that is still the size of a relative human. Like it's going to be bigger, but and now you're asking it to do even more work on top. Like if we're talking about longevity, that's not something he wants to be taxing his heart with, for sure.
But wouldn't it?
I get both points.
I'm not saying I'm right. I'm totally bro science. I'm totally bro sciencing it. I'm just saying, wouldn't that build some endurance, or wouldn't it regulate the way his breathing is, or wouldn't it make him used to it?
He has so much muscle on him that he's already redlining, right?
Yeah.
So you want to redline him again?
No, what I'm saying is, okay, let's just say it's not high intensity cardio. Let's just say, wouldn't getting in better shape reduce that feeling?
Yeah, by kind of being confident.
You kind of what, Jamie?
I think your angle is like to make me more confident of that feeling, right?
Or just to be in better cardiovascular shape where your breathing isn't out of control so quickly.
Yeah.
Because I know Paul is obviously half your size, but when Paul started doing more cardio, his panic attacks got better. He was able to manage them better. He didn't get them as often because he was in such bad cardiovascular shape because he wasn't doing any cardio for so long that those high top sets would make him panic because he wasn't used to the feeling. So when he started doing cardio and his weight dropped a little bit and his cardiovascular, he could breathe a little better, then his failure sets got better.
Yeah.
That's kind of why I say it.
But there's a difference between cardiovascular cardio and performance cardio.
Okay, well, maybe I was saying the wrong thing, but that's what I'm saying.
Cardiovascular will be your main objective is to increase blood flow and oxygen delivery around the body, right?
Sure.
So as long as you're getting oxygen proliferating to the extremities and getting the heart used to beating, and what's that? I'm talking for someone Jamie's size, you're talking like 110 to 120 beats a minute, right?
Yeah.
That is not putting the body or the heart in particular cardiovascular system under stress.
But don't they say that
it's putting under? Okay, most of the studies are done on like a 200 pound
no. Just
man.
Listen, I'm not arguing with you, Ben. I don't. These are simply just questions. I totally don't even know. I'm just asking a specific question. So, I lost my train of thought. I was going to say, I forgot what I was going to say. Fuck.
Blah, 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 blah. You fucked up.
I was thinking
in terms of
about 110, 120. I was thinking that's fucking the heart rate when I'm having a wank.
It's true. It's true. Like, it doesn't take much.
Just
do
that's
that.
fine.
Right now.
Just wank. But that's what I mean. Like when you're up at like the 150, 160, 170, which you probably would be if you're doing like HIIT training.
Yeah.
Your heart, say it's this big, right? That's trying to deliver oxygen to this 350 pound. Do you know how much stress that heart is under?
Don't they say doing a little more cardio, like a little bit harder cardio, will help the viscosity of the blood as well? Like, won't all of that help if he's doing a little bit of hard cardio here and there? Like, I'm not talking.
Not in an extreme environment. Which, as bodybuilders, 280 plus pounds, you're in an extreme environment. It's not the same. You're talking about a human body which has way too much muscle tissue on it. So it's not designed to be this. The heart is not designed to support even the muscle that I have, let alone what you guys fucking have.
Okay, so what I'm saying is, so you can't reduce red blood cells by doing harder cardio.
No, I think you need to actually look into your. I think
that's what I was.
Yeah, okay. Maybe you can, but what you're doing whilst you're doing that is stressing
causing
out
more damage.
This fucking thing every time you're doing it.
I get it.
And I think the payoff if you're getting on the red blood cell count, which you could address with other avenues, right? And bloodletting, etc.
Yeah,
you can negate that without. I mean, the layman way of thinking about it, the heart only has so much mileage on it, right?
Okay, wait.
Throughout a lifetime. Imagine your heart only has.
I get it. I'm going to simplify the whole thing. So when you're trying to get in cardiovascular shape for a fight, for example, like a boxer or something, right? Or an MMA fighter, they run laps. They do road work, right? And it builds up their endurance. It builds up their breathing, blah, blah, blah.
Right.
Isn't that the same concept that I'm trying to apply here?
Yeah, but you're trying to apply it to a guy that's 3 times as big.
So it won't benefit.
You've completely changed the organism that you're now dealing with, and what's happened that the internal organs haven't grown that much to support the capacity of the muscle mass.
Mm-hmm.
You're talking about 150 pound fighters, 170 pound fighters, 200 pound fighters.
Yeah,
and that's what I was saying. And if you look at all of the scientific literature, that it all supports what you're saying. It's all very well and great. You're not talking about 6'5",
so what you're saying,
350 pound monster.
So in a nutshell, what you're saying is, yes, that may help, but you may be doing so much damage on the other end that it may not be worth it.
This is what I mean. There's a cost reward, right?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. The reward is I improve my
breathing and whatever,
my heart to perform, but am I at the same time? You're putting that heart under stress that is not built for one.
Yeah.
And at some point, the heart is going to be like, this, I can't do this anymore.
So, okay, this is interesting to me. So if I'm doing like I did step mill yesterday morning and my heart rate was like 130, is that not good for me?
No, that's what I'm saying. Like 130. I mean,
I'm not as big as Jamie, but
like specific numbers in terms of 118. It's very individual. Like it's
It depends on the person.
Like 130 compared to 170, there's a big difference. 120 to 130 is not.
It's not a big deal.
I'm talking like if Jamie's up trying to do like HIIT, and a lot of HIIT training is based on heart rate and the variance, right?
Yeah.
I mean, if you want to talk about stress on your organs at Jamie's size or your size or James's size, putting your heart rate up and down like that
is not good.
It's stress, right?
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
Has to be.
Yeah.
It's a really difficult one because we're living in a vessel that has been taken to, like, say, such an extremity that the environment of all these mechanisms is very altered from what it should be, and they can't actually cope with a lot of what we do if we push it. So we have to be very mindful of where on that parameter we are, and that's why we can't be excessive at what we do on top of the excessive nature of what we already do, you know.
So let me ask you then, if that's the case, anybody who wants to answer, what is a solution then for somebody who has these panic attacks like Paul or like Jamie, or like, because it's funny because they're vastly different sizes, right? Like Paul's 240 pounds or 30 pounds, you know, Jamie's 330 pounds, so 340 pounds. So it obviously can happen to anybody. So what is somebody supposed to do if they're having these panic attacks to try and mitigate their response? Is it just
See, I think I would probably suffer with them if I was maybe 15 pounds heavier. So I think a lot of it does come down to where are you in the threshold of your body's comfort.
Yeah.
You know, I can't speak on Jamie because I'm not him, but like obviously you're trying to obtain new muscles. It's very difficult because you're trying to sit in a weight area that you've never been before for a longer period of time, so it's sustainable. But like I know that if I was over 310, I'd probably get under a bar and straight away feel claustrophobic. So I don't know, maybe it's just because Jamie's right at the upper echelon of his weight.
You're trying to break that plateau. Do
you know what I mean? Is that what's happening? Because he's right at the peak of going beyond where he's ever gone before. It's a lot of discomfort, and that's not just mentally but also in a physical aspect on the body. The vessels are working harder, everything's working harder. Blood restriction, you know, the amount of blood that can get around his body efficiently versus when he was lighter is nowhere near as effective. Therefore, panic attacks can often occur because of, like, say, like oxygen not being met. So a lot of it is probably just the correlation between your body having a hard time being so fucking heavy and having to do the weightlifting.
So Jamie, is it worth it to you to keep pushing that plateau and deal with because like the panic attack, a lot of it, and I know somebody's probably going to correct me if I'm wrong, but the panic attack is more mental than it is physical. So is it worth it for you to just deal with that mental aspect, or are you going to try and like come down 10 pounds or like how, because I know it's tough to try and like, I want to be a great pro, but I also don't want to deal with this thing. So like, how do you manage it?
Well, this is why I didn't really make a massive point of pushing the weight back up since I came back from the arms, because I dropped that 10 pounds and it didn't affect me as much in training. So one thing I know we've always said before about off seasons is when the off season is at its peak is when that crossover, or when it crosses over into affecting performance at training. When your training starts to suffer from the excess weight that you carry in, I think that's like kind of where you call it, and maybe sit at that weight until you're more comfortable and push again. So my limit was in the 340s.
Yeah.
Sitting at 330 now, things are much better. But I think for a long time I convinced myself that because my style of training changed to a higher volume style of training, that would be enough cardio.
Yeah.
So I think that if I was to keep up my walks, low intensity cardio, just to give that a bit of a workout every day, then that may have just released some of the stress a little bit.
Sorry, go ahead, Ben.
I was going to say the high volume stuff, if we're talking, might be contributing to the anxiety. You know, if the body is struggling to oxygenate, where you're doing so much volume, so much sets and reps, that's demanding a lot of blood and a lot of oxygen, right?
I was going to ask you, Jamie, did this come on when you changed? Because you used to do like JP style training, correct?
Yeah.
So did this come on when you started to increase the volume?
Yeah, I've suffered with it in the past, like at peak off seasons before, with the heavy duty style training, but they were in the higher rep sets.
Okay.
And definitely more so with the high volume. Particularly on legs, every other body part I'm okay. Back, sometimes you can find your breathing quite compromised when you're training back, when you're like hunched over, bent over, whatever. So back in leg days, there was like a pre-anxiety before the fucking session. I knew what was kind of coming.
You're dealing.
That's what I mean. Like, look how big.
Go ahead.
Sorry.
No.
As I say, look how big your legs are. Look how much muscle mass and oxygen they're going to require when you're doing those higher volume stuff. And I'm not saying it's just everything's a trade-off, right? Everything's so, well, if I do X, then Y happen. Like, you're so damn fucking big that sucking in all of that oxygen is now, you know, you can't, you're not able to, your lungs and heart are not built to support 350 pounds doing a set 20 or giant set. Like it just,
especially,
you know what I mean?
Especially with those exercises that are more compound. So like you think, this is your heart, and then this is the muscle you're trying to train your legs. That's got to support that.
I love diagrams.
All right, so that's the diagram. But then imagine a squat, where it isn't just this, it's everything else, and this is still trying to work.
Yeah.
So that's why, like a squat for Jamie, for me, I would imagine if Jamie had to do high rep set of squats, that'd probably be panic central.
Yeah, 100%. And what you guys have said has actually made a lot of sense as well. It's just my dumbass, the nature of us, we always
You're
want to
not dumb.
we just think that, you know, it will get better, or we need to man up and train through it. And that's what I've been doing for a long time. Plus, I have a training partner that is definitely a son of loss.
He's quite savage.
You know, Swinno, he's crazy, isn't he?
Yeah,
So,
he's a bit of a nut. Yeah.
in a good way. But, you know, sometimes
He'll
I
go
think
ham. Yeah.
we've probably pushed a bit too much on
Who?
Swinno. What's his first name?
Lee Swinno used to compete in, what was he?
Heavyweight.
He was a heavyweight, wasn't he? Like up to 100.
Yeah.
He British finals 2015 with me, and I think he came third that year.
He got top 3.
Yeah.
But so here's the thing, and I'm not bashing Milos. So I've worked with Milos. He's a friend. I love him. Milos's giant sets that he did. I mean, what was Milos's biggest he ever was?
What,
I
250?
think he was like 280-ish, 285.
No, but I mean, like in shape.
Okay.
What, 240?
Dang, there's a big difference between 350 and 280.
Yeah.
It's even so, you know, like to ask. I get it. And Milos is fucking crazy and did everything he's asking anyone to ever do. He did himself. I get it. But the amount of muscle tissue you have and that you're like that is demanding oxygen and support from, it's I think you have to think of yourself slightly differently, mate. Like I think you're just that much bigger. It's
Well, this is why when he said, you know, we're going to work out a split, and he'll say, right, we'll start on 8 sessions a week, build it to 10. And I just said straight away, like, I've been doing 4 sessions a week for like 2 years. Let's do this gradually. And when I got back home, I started on Monday to Saturday training, Sunday off, so 6 days.
Yeah.
Even that for 2 weeks killed me.
Yeah.
And then when I got to back to 5 and had the Wednesday and the Sunday off, and that's where I sat. And I said to Milos myself, I said,
This
5 sessions is all I can like do at the minute and recover from at this weight, because like you guys have just said, the extra weight demands recovery.
Absolutely.
In prep, when I'm lighter and fitter, then I might try some double days, but we just have to see how it goes.
Yeah. I'm the same though. Like, listen, like I thought if I've done workouts that have been like proposed that I do 3 sets of like stuff like deadlifts, and then I'm like, I do 1 set. I'm like, that's me done.
Yeah.
Like, because anything else is just stress on me. Like,
yeah,
if I give something my all for 1 set, I'd rather just fucking move on, because I don't want to put myself in a position where I'm just over stressing my heart, letting the heart rate come down between sets, pushing it back up, down again, back up, especially with these, like, say, these compound exercises. Like, I know at the end of the day, you have to, it's very valuable to have a coach, and it's important, but our instincts are very important as well. And a good coach, like, you know, and it's just when you say exactly what you think, and then you come to some sort of understanding of the feedback that you give. So the feedback, you know, me talking to you now, I feel like you've painted a very clear picture, and it's very easy to understand what should and shouldn't be done. Even like I say, a lot of it comes for me, like with you, like I'm like, a lot of it comes down to like exercise choice, because you've got to be mindful of what ones are more demanding. Like, you know? So,
you guys want to do some questions?
Of course. Let me text the chef so you bring me a meal, because I've seen Ben eating.
What are you eating, Ben?
I like started my meal at the start, and then
You can eat,
sweet?
you can eat, Jamie. It's a
sour?
bodybuilding podcast. We all eat on this fucking. Well, I don't.
I've got a bit just in case, like I go hypo or something.
Yeah, I usually have some cookies laying around somewhere.
Yeah,
you get the good stuff, man.
What are you eating, Ben?
bison, like 100 grams of cooked rice. That's a high carb meal for me now.
Big meal, bro.
Then,
big old meal.
Yeah, it's 100 grams of bison, 100 grams of rice, and then a shit ton of cabbage and some carrots.
I like cabbage. I got blood work today.
well.
Look, see? Yeah, you can't
Yeah,
see
what?
it.
Oh yeah,
I got blood work done today.
I've got a CT scan in 2 days.
What's that for?
Oh.
Is that for your heart?
Heart, so a proper heart scan where they put the dye in your body so you can see where the.
Oh, I thought that was an angiogram when they do that.
I don't know. I've got a CT scan as well, and that I've got some shit.
So they're putting the dye in your veins?
Yeah,
whatever.
Yeah.
That's great. I love that.
It's cool.
It's like,
it's a real good indication of.
To me,
things.
that's like the most accurate way to see.
Yeah, I think so.
So why did you do
I've
that?
got
Do you have anything going on, or just being sure?
No, just checking, man.
Checking. Good.
Yeah. My Dr. Matt, who's at Muscle Works, who Ben and Lucas train, he looks after a lot of the guys over here, and I just said to him, like, it's worth getting, isn't it? And he said, yeah. And then he referred me, so I booked it in private, and got that this week. So
I had that
think that'd
done.
be really good.
I had that done in 2015.
It's worth doing that.
Yeah, it's
Definitely worth doing.
Probably time to do it again. Yeah, I had blood work done today, so we'll see how that goes. Hopefully, things have leveled off at least and not declined in any way. So,
Yeah,
we'll see.
I'm sure they'll be pretty good because of like you haven't done much.
I didn't tell you guys. I got my motorcycle license today.
Oh yes, you got it now. I
Yeah,
saw the bike you posted on your thing. It looked nice.
Yeah,
that's cool.
I better share just for people because so on the last podcast I told everybody I was getting a Ninja 650.
Yeah,
and then Ben kind of didn't talk me out of it, but after talking to Ben and a few other people, I got something a little bit easier to ride, so I could learn because I've never ever ridden a motorcycle. So I bought this little thing.
I think that's really nice. I like that old military green.
It's small.
It does look small.
It's a little small, but it's going to be easy to learn on, and then I can get something bigger once I've kind of fully grasped.
I think that's cool.
You want to start with a handgun and not an RPG.
Yeah, exactly. Jamie knows.
Yeah, no, that's true. But I have people messaging me going, "Oh man, you should have just got a Harley, fat boy," and I'm like, what if I just learn how to ride? Like they don't depreciate.
Let me
let me just, because the thing is, like, what if I don't even like it? Like this is something I've always wanted to do, right? But I'm like, what if I don't even like it? Because I like riding to the gym with Paul. We talk on the way to the gym and shit. And I like, I don't want to have to fucking wear a jacket and a helmet sometimes in 90-degree weather.
Yeah.
So I'm like, what if I do this thing all summer and I'm like, it's not that great. So I'm like, why don't I just start with a small bike and see if I love it and then go from there?
Ben's like, it's great, trust me.
Well, I'm pretty sure I'm going to like it, but I'm just saying, what if I don't, right?
I remember, James, you know who Barry Pitts is, right?
Yeah.
We used to train together in London, jump on the bikes in like a
UP days.
You guys call them a tank top, but in vests. Helmets on vests. I wasn't jacked up. I was never jacked, but I thought I was. And then just rip through the middle of London. Mate, there's nothing more fun.
That's what I want
in the summer. In the summer, we go through Hyde Park and we stop off at a Turkish restaurant in Hammersmith.
Sick.
Get chicken, rice. That was good times, man.
So
and it all centered around bike, but you have to have somebody. You gotta get Paul on a bike too, and then it's fucking fun.
Well, you just segued perfectly for me. So I talked to Paul because Paul is my best friend. He wants to do everything I do, and because we want to do shit together. So I talked Paul. Paul has now registered for the motorcycle course in July.
Yes, Paul.
And I've talked Paul into buying a Can-Am. So Paul's going to get this Can-Am Riker.
Oh, really?
Let me find
What?
Yeah. So it's like a three-wheeler. So you can't, you literally can't tip this thing.
Fall off it.
Yeah.
So
you're really thinking of full safety here.
Well, Paul is thinking of Paul's safety because Paul's like, I don't want to ride a motorcycle. So it's like, okay.
So get me something that's like a motorcycle, but not.
Yeah, this thing's fucking sweet though. So he can ride this thing and I'll ride my motorcycle and we'll have our little gang.
This looks like something out of...
Put a sidecar on yours.
Yeah. Like Wallace and Gromit.
No, but I actually, to be honest with you, I watched some YouTube videos on this thing and it looks so fucking cool. I think I might buy one for summer. So that means me and Summer can go riding together too.
So like barge you off your bike with that. Like with the front wheels.
Can you picture Paul on this fucking thing? It's gonna be awesome.
I'm not sure.
You need to get it wrapped. You need to get it wrapped with Hostile.
Yeah, we'll get some.
You need it wrapped, man.
So yeah, I'm happy. Paul. I talked Paul into do something a little different. That shit's not really Paul's style, but he.
Yeah, but you boys are at that age now. We got to like enjoy these things and fucking just have a laugh, do it together. You know,
that's what I told him. I said, dude, come on, man. We're not getting any younger. Let's fucking do some stupid shit.
Do this. Do it properly if we're gonna fucking do it at
all. Okay, James.
Yeah.
Toast and jam or rice cakes and jam?
Toast and jam by fucking miles.
It's not even close.
That's like sex with a condom or without. Come on.
I've got a better.
That's such a good comparison.
Jesus.
I got a better question. Toast and jam or crumpets and butter?
I've never had crumpets.
Crumpets are in there, mate. Crumpets are really up there. But
Jamie knows.
Yeah, that's tough. That
I like butter more than jam, so I have to go with the crumpet.
No,
butter is the ultimate.
Yeah.
The difficulty is for us because we're bodybuilders. We always go like carb and carb.
Pro carb, carb pro. Yeah. No fat. Yeah, sorry.
So
this is crumpets and butter.
Yeah, look at that. Tell me that they give you a fucking stick.
Jamie, say the macros were the same.
Crumpets and butter.
Absolutely. Look at that. Fouad.
There you go.
Fouad, we'll post you some over, mate.
You know, I did my very first ever prep I did for my first show. The carbs were so low, I was ended up having crumpets. I'd have chicken, broccoli, crumpet with some Marmite on it.
Are the crumpet?
That's my carbs.
Are crumpets soft? They look soft.
No, they're like soft, but they also like if you cook them right, they get a little bit blackened, so they get a little bit toasty on the outside. Yeah, they're so good. And all the butter melts through them all the way, so it comes out of the bottom of your plate after as well.
Don't you find you got to like toast them twice?
You know what I love about James? He's an animal in the gym, but he's just a fat kid. That's
man, that's
honestly. Just learned how to work out. Oh wait,
who's that?
Who's that?
Who's that?
Hi.
Hoss.
We're all gonna wave.
Say hi, Hoss. He keeps walking around going, Hoss.
Yeah, he misses me. I got to come back.
Say hi.
Hi. Look at him.
He's
So fucking cute.
Hey.
You and your lovely. Oh, we got to wave.
Oh yeah, we got away.
Wait. All right, go see mommy.
Adorable.
Now I need to get Yannick up the duff now.
Yeah. Do something, James. Come on.
Go.
James, what makes you happy?
Crumpets for bar.
What about a scone with cream and jam?
Oh, I had this conversation with my missus the other day, right? So she could not believe that I wanted to put butter on my scone over cream and jam.
No, butter.
Oh,
butter.
I like
butter.
Clotted cream.
I like both. Fuck it. I have butter and cream. Who gives a shit? Let's get fully involved, boys. Let's just go all the way in.
Yeah.
What, like this?
Yeah, look at that second picture. Look at that, Fouad.
Oh,
the one at the top with the jam as well.
Yeah, the top.
One.
Yeah.
Look at that.
Oh,
put that in your mouth. Oh yeah.
Put that in your
that's
mouth.
fucking thing. That's beautiful,
mate.
What about an egg custard? Are you partial to an egg custard?
Yeah, but not like this though. Not like this.
Yes.
You guys are all fat.
Oh, God. If you come to England, you're fucked.
I am going to come to England. I'm coming to the Arnold UK.
Hi.
What are you doing, Phoenix?
He's muted us. He's muted him because he's probably talking bad about us. Don't listen to them pigs.
Yeah. They're nasty.
Right. Listen, I'm going to ask you guys again. Hi, Phoenix.
He can't hear you, I think.
He can hear me. We can't hear them.
Yeah. What did you want to ask?
Okay. I asked on the last podcast and I got bullshit answers. So I think James can give me a little bit deeper answer. Other than scones and butter, what makes you?
Oh, really? What makes me happy?
Yeah.
The friendships I have, mostly. I think like I said to Yannick yesterday, I feel like your family is who you consider it to be. And I feel like my friends, the people that I see on a weekly basis are my family. And that's family makes you happy. So whoever you consider family.
So I make you happy.
You make me happy. This podcast is an extension of family. So you all are contributing, but you all are contributing to my happiness because I feel like most of my happiness from life comes from the conversations I have with the people that I gel with.
So friends make you happy. Okay, I like that.
Yeah. Friends, interaction with people that are not even necessarily like-minded, but just I like that it's a colourful bunch, that we're not all the same and that we all have something different to offer. I feel like that's
racist.
Happiness comes from, it's racist. You're a racist. No, but I feel like
it's like you're a colorful bunch. I'm the only brown one here. What the fuck are you talking about?
It's true. But happiness comes from that. It's the a social interaction on a certain intelligent level for me is just happiness with people I care about.
I could agree with that. There was a period of time, I want to say, where I got really, really, I don't want to even say serious with bodybuilding. I was very isolated.
Yeah.
And I only had like Paul. I had a lot of acquaintances, but I only had like it was just me and Paul. And then even when I moved away to Toronto, it was even worse because Paul wasn't there either.
Yeah.
And I think I agree with you, James. It's like the relationships in your life like really make what your life is.
You could have the worst day and you could have a conversation with Ben and it turns around.
Well, I mean, you can have all the money in the fucking world. You can have all the toys in the world. You could have all the success in the world, but if you don't want to no one to share it with or no one to laugh about it with, and it sucks.
It means fuck all if you've got no one to share it with.
Yeah.
I aside from the obvious thing with like Kevin Phoenix, right?
Yeah.
I am missing a huge chunk in my life, which I used to have every day.
Yeah.
And it's that picture I posted this morning, right?
Yeah.
That's why I call you every day, and then you complain that I call you every day.
Yeah, but I'll complain more if you stop. So carry on. But it's like like what you were talking about, like with you and Paul, is how Luke and I was, and like even if Luke was like sick or didn't train, I just went into the gym and there's other people. Like I am aching for social interaction.
I can imagine.
Like I feel like it's so deprived in my life right now. Like it's
quite hard because you go into your gym and it's like there and it's not.
It's literally behind that wall. And as much as I love my wife and my kid, it's like I plan to open a gym and I'm really fucking looking forward to just being like, hey, how are you? How's your day? Like, just, even if I'm not training, right, just seeing people move around and be.
But people, just so people know, if you don't know already, Ben lives like an hour to an hour and a half from Dallas. So that's part of the reason why, if people are like, well, why don't you just go train at Destination or go train? He's just,
it's not around the corner.
Destination is 2 hours away door to door, Destination with no traffic.
Yeah. So you're not going to go do that shit every day. But just so we can touch on this is the picture Ben was talking about. And I actually want to mention something about it. So we took this picture when I was there. Me and Justin were there a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
I like the caption because I think people forget that bodybuilding is not just competitive bodybuilding.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
it's a culture.
So I guess
you can be a bodybuilder and never step on stage.
I guess the reason I want to bring it up is this: somebody messaged me and they said, "Hey, I would really want to try your products, but they're made for bodybuilders, and I'm not a bodybuilder." And I'm like, "Well, do you work out?" He's like, "Yeah." I'm like, "Are you working out seriously?" He's like, "Yeah." I'm like, "Do you care about what you put in your body?" He's like, "Yeah." I'm like, "Okay." I'm like, "That's it." I'm like, "You don't have to be a competitive bodybuilder to be," and this isn't a sales pitch for my product. This is more, I'm just talking about, people get this impression that you're only a bodybuilder if you stepped on stage, and that's different. That's being a competitive bodybuilder.
Yeah.
You can say I'm a competitive bodybuilder. That's what I do for a living. That's different.
Absolutely.
But if you say I'm a bodybuilder, look, I remember when I used to train in Toronto, there was this fucking guy in there, probably a little heavier guy, wasn't like in he had body fat, but he was more of a power lifter. He wasn't a bodybuilder. He was there in full sweats, like sweatshirt, jogging pants, with his wife, older guy. He would go in at like 5 a.m. I'd be in there doing cardio for a show. He would go in at like 5 a.m. and just be doing singles and doubles with like 5, 6, 7 plates. And he wouldn't talk to nobody, wasn't like there wearing flashy clothes, just wearing like gray sweats. And then he would fucking leave. He would just say hi to people on the way in and out, and that was it. He wasn't there to like make friends. He wasn't there to like prove anything or show off. He just literally went. That guy to me is a bodybuilder. That guy is living the lifestyle, right? So I just wanted to touch on Ben's photo because I'm like, the caption basically says that, which is like, you can live the lifestyle and be a bodybuilder without making $1 or without ever stepping on stage.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I would add to that though. The one thing and this is the thing, like that proves the one thing that's the most important part is the work. Like a bodybuilder is the person that works. So I'll tell you what is not a bodybuilder, someone that doesn't work that says they're a fucking bodybuilder.
Yeah.
Just to be on the other foot, you're on the other foot. So you can take all the pictures of the flashy stuff you got. But if you're not doing the bodybuilding part and you just want to be a public figure, I'm sorry. Until you're doing the part that's actually the blood, sweat, and tears part, you're not a bodybuilder. So like I say, you don't have to compete, but if you train and you want to improve, you're a bodybuilder. But if you don't fucking train for shit and you call yourself something, please just rethink about that. And I'm saying that on a personal level because I've had a few people in my gym that piss me off. Sorry.
Yeah. No, James, I agree with you. I've said that before. I said, first of all, one of the things I used to say is train like nobody's watching, because some of these people only train when someone's watching. Yeah. That's number one. And then the other thing is, I've always said is everybody knows when they go to sleep at night what they've done. And when you lay your head down on the fucking pillow at night, if you ate your meals, if you went to the gym, if you're actually a bodybuilder, if you're just the guy that goes there for a few sets so they can post something on Instagram. So I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah. And again, I'm not like, I should try to say this on one of my posts. I'm not trying to discredit people for going to the gym and wanting just to have an image, because it might be their living. Yeah. Brilliant.
Yeah.
But I'm also like, I think people have to be very aware of what category they put themselves in. Mm. You're a content creator only.
Yes.
But you can be both, or you can be just this. Like, I don't know. I just, the most important thing is, like, I look at that picture there of us as bodybuilders, like of Ben and that. And that's exactly what I see. I see what it is for what it is. Mm. And I just want to pay as much respect to that as I can.
Well,
and that's why I sometimes get a little bit, aggy with people that don't understand what that picture epitomizes. Because that is, if you want to be a body, let me just tell you one thing: just look at that picture and see what it's about, and understand that lifestyle, and get involved in that, and then you'll be a bodybuilder. Well, that's all I'm trying to say.
I feel sad. I don't want to be patronizing, but I'm like, some people never won't understand that, and I'm like, it's fucking amazing. Like that is just. Shit.
Look at the sweat on you. Like I think I can see sweat. It's black and white, but I can see that you've fucking.
Oh, my t-shirt's drenched from that.
Yeah, your t-shirt looks like it's literally soaked, and that's the shit right there, man.
Yeah. So, I think the reason, James, if you sound upset, is because from looking at this photo, when you and I said this like numerous times, when you give your all to something, you really get to experience the benefit and the joy of it.
Yeah.
And I think if you're half-ass bodybuilding, if you're not really living it, if you're not really living the lifestyle, you don't really know what you're missing out on. It doesn't mean you have to. It doesn't mean you have to. It doesn't mean you have to like it or have to enjoy it or have to do it. I'm just saying, I think what we're trying to say is we're promoting this lifestyle, because if you do it to the full extent,
do it for what it is truly, and then you'll really love it. You'll really love it. You'll understand why we do as well.
Yeah.
Like,
I don't know. Anyway, sorry, I don't know how I got onto that. I just, when I saw that photo this morning, I thought we should cover this on the podcast, because I feel bad when people feel alienated and they say, well, I'm not a bodybuilder because they don't compete, because I feel like that's wrong.
Yeah, true.
But then, like you said, James, on the flip side, it's also wrong when someone's like, I'm a bodybuilder, but they don't really eat the meals or train hard, or they're just kind of faking it.
Yeah, I know. Listen, I won't lie. There's some individuals out there that really fucking get on my tits, because they just, I know them personally. They walk in my gym, they don't even say fucking hello.
Yeah.
And I'm like, and I hate to be like fucking like, it's like, you call yourself a bodybuilder. Yeah. Okay. You call yourself a bodybuilder. And then there's people like me, Fouad, people like that, like everyone that's doing quite well in it. Yeah. And we really tried to give back to the culture. Yeah. But you'll come in the gym and call yourself bodybuilder and you won't even acknowledge us. Like, I find that's something that really bothers me. It's like, so your dream's to get on the Olympia stage, my friend. Yeah. Yeah. Come into the gym. I've been there. Yeah. And I ain't saying I'm the shit for doing it. I didn't even do that well, but I've been there. And like, I would happily give you my time and give you some respect if you fucking gave me some. Like, and I know that may sound really bad of me, and I like might sound like I'm egotistical because I'm like venting off, but I just find it really odd. Like, I'm clearly attached to the gym that I'm involved with, and you come in there and do your filming and all that shit. We let you, and we don't have to let you, but we let you, and you can't even come over and say fucking hello, thanks for having us.
I find that funny thing is,
I find that shit odd.
Usually, the biggest guys in the gym are the most reasonable, down to earth. There's no ego with them, like. It's the little guys that have that attitude and have the issue, you know. If someone walks up to James and be like, started asking him some questions, okay, he might be, if he's in the middle of a set or deep in a prep, you might get a pushback.
James,
but if you catch him at the front desk in the gym, I guarantee you, you'll engage in a deep conversation with him and try and impart.
I fucking talk to everyone, and I'll finish training and someone say, can you have a look at me in the pose room? I'll go look, because I want to pass on. So there's more bodybuilders that can come after us. Like, it's important to me to keep bodybuilding alive. So that's why I just find it really frustrating. Just the last thing, like, let's say I went into Destination Dallas, and I saw any of the Gas boys in there, and I clearly know who they are. And if I just blanked them, like, that for me is just shitty, bruv. Like, you're not even part of this industry if you've got that attitude. Yeah, that's just how I feel personally. Well, that's just me spouting some personal fucking feelings in my life right now, because most of my members are fucking amazing. You just get a couple of fucking,
James, I think you have a right to, because it's different if you're somebody who doesn't give that respect, but you always give respect to the people.
Mate, absolutely.
I mean, we're all standing on the shoulders of somebody, right? So
yeah, and mate, when I came up, Ben, if I was at a show watching and John Hodgson was guest posing or Lee Powell, I was fucking in awe. I was like, I'll go over and I'll just say, look, you are. Like, I'm not saying I want people to say this to me, but I'll just be like, you're part of the reason why I do this, and I really appreciate what you do for the culture.
Yeah.
And all I want as a bodybuilder, when my time's done, is to say, do you know what, James? You gave back to the culture and you kept it on the right path. That's what I want.
Yeah.
That's it.
I hear you.
That's it.
Yeah. Jamie, I didn't ask you what makes you happy.
Sorry,
tits?
Yeah, I have kids, so the obvious choice.
I didn't say kids.
Tits.
Tits. He says tits. He says kids. Yeah, kids.
I'm definitely not referring to my kids as tits.
No.
They can be tits sometimes.
Although my wife has 2 babies,
Yeah.
I like tits, definitely. I love my dog. I love my dogs. And my kids and the tits.
Dogs, kids, and tits. Bang. Perfect.
I like little things.
In what order, though? In what order? Yeah.
Oh, tits first. Kids third. Yeah, I like little things. You know, like going for a coffee with a wife. She always says that that's the only time we get to speak properly together. Like when I'm not invested in my phone and work and client.
Yeah.
So being away from the sport and being kind of in the moment is very important. Love the cinema. Me and James can relate to that.
Oh yeah, I love the cinema.
But I do think a huge part of me is unhappy as well. And I think we can all relate to this, because as bodybuilders, I think it just takes this type of personality to be a bodybuilder, in the sense that I don't think we're ever happy and we feel like we're always chasing. So there's a lot of things that I've got that I guess are materialistic, like the car, watches, the house, that I thought would make me happy. Well, they haven't. And I'm still chasing that happiness. I'm still chasing.
We have ways that makes you actually happy.
Yeah, I'm still chasing that. I don't know what it is, because I'm still chasing it.
You know, I had this. I said the same thing to Fouad. You know, we're talking about me buying that Porsche, and I went, I'm not going to do it because I think it's going to make me happy, and I guarantee I'll have it for like a day and be like, "This is amazing," and then the next week I'll be like, "Why did I do that?" Like, it didn't change anything. It didn't make me. It didn't do what I thought it was going to do.
Why? Look, man, there's so much shit in what you just said, Jamie. Why are you unhappy? Why do you think there's part of you that's unhappy? Is it just because you're chasing something else, or is it because this fucking life takes so much of you?
I think a big thing at the minute for me is I feel like I've got more to achieve. Like I'm not where I want to be, and I feel like I'm running out of time almost. I feel like there's certain things I need to do in the next year that are going to be crucial for my future.
Sure.
But then do you think that even if that happens, do you think that will lead to being happy?
I don't know.
This is what I'm trying to say, G. It's like somehow we need to take a step back as human beings and understand and appreciate them now. It's really hard.
Yeah. It's a double-edged sword, though.
It's fucking hard, man.
You're as good as you are because you're chasing something up here, right? And if you ever achieved it, you would stop, right? It would be, but because you're so ambitious, we're all ambitious to a point. That's what drives us to become better. You guys, that's why you guys are pros. But it's also the dagger in the back, because you're never satisfied, you're never fulfilled, and you're always left wanting more. Like I'm going through that same thing at the minute where, okay, even as a bodybuilder, but I'm like, even watching my son grow up, and it's, if you'd asked me 2 years ago, hey, you're gonna have a son, I'm like, that's cool. Well, by the time he's a year old, I'd have done X, Y, Z by then. And time has just moved way quicker than I anticipated. And I haven't done the things I thought I would have achieved. And it becomes this like, oh, like, I get where you're at. I get it.
When I look back, so it's so funny to hear Jamie say that, because he's in the midst of the career that I finished. And I look back at my bodybuilding career, and I just wrote this today, actually. I don't regret a single day of it. But when I look back at it, I'm like, fuck, that took a lot of my life.
Yeah.
Like it took all of my life. Yeah. And I honest to God, don't regret a single day. I would not trade anything I did for anything. But man, when people are funny, because when you say like sacrifice, people are like, oh, well, you're not in the military, bro. You're not really sacrificing. I'm like, yeah, obviously that's like the ultimate sacrifice. We're not talking about that kind of sacrifice.
There's levels, yeah.
There's levels of sacrifice, obviously. So I'm not saying any of that. But when you talk about sacrifice in bodybuilding, it's just you're completely eliminating normal life. Yep. You're in like this little box. And when I look back at my 20s and 30s, especially my 30s, it's just like this tunnel vision and there's nothing else. And now all of a sudden now it's like somebody took the blinders off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I can fucking see everything. Right. And it's so fucked up. And yeah. Anyway, can
I just add to that?
Yeah.
So this is why I go to my friend's house every Thursday.
By the way, I'm
So,
jealous of that. When you showed that on the
yeah,
Telegram
yeah.
thing, I'm super jealous of your Thursday meetups.
yeah, I go there every Thursday, and that gives me just enough to be able to commit to this bodybuilding.
Yeah.
If I didn't have that, fuck bodybuilding.
Yeah. Yeah.
Honestly, not like because I hate it or anything, but it's just because I couldn't maintain myself.
You need to have something.
But it's funny because my friend RJ, the one who I go and see, he's not a bodybuilder, he's a businessman. But he sent his wife sent me a message saying, thank you so much for being such a good friend. Because the three, me, him and Louis, she went before, after lockdown and stuff, he wasn't himself. And she said that he's so much happier now. So what that tells me is whatever endeavor you're in.
That's right.
Yeah. So then we're speaking from our background, of course.
That's right.
Bodybuilding. Yep. But it seems anything you're heavily invested in that is sacrificial in terms of time.
Yep.
Most humans feel this way. And I didn't realize this till the other day. It's just that we did a different path. We did our career this way and they did theirs that way.
This is where the whole balance argument comes from. When I said there's no balance because you're trying to achieve greatness, this is what I'm talking about. It doesn't matter what genre you're in. If you're trying to achieve greatness, you lose balance and you put yourself in a box.
Yes. But whatever it is, whatever pursuit it is, whether it's brain surgeon, lawyer, bodybuilder, it's all bigger than the one individual.
Yeah.
Right. So we'll get consumed by it. And eventually that chosen passion will win. It will beat us some way or another. So what James is doing right now is he's allowing that expansion to be elsewhere rather than allowing bodybuilding to consume him until it smothers him. Right.
Yeah,
you have to it's like a pressure cooker, right? You have to let that steam out here.
Yes.
Somewhere it's got to come out because we can all lock in for maybe 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years. But if you don't let that steam out this way,
what's going to happen at the end?
Thing is going to fucking explode. And then,
you're right. So Jamie, I have a question that I thought of when you're talking about your happiness. When you go for coffee with the wife, is it like a drive-through Starbucks or is it like a sit down at a coffee shop and have a coffee?
Yeah, we'll go and sit down, have some time together and chill. And just be in the moment. But I think one of the main things that's like listening to you guys, what you said that really resonated was, I think for the first time in my life, I've started to realize that there are other things that I do enjoy and want to be doing and feel like I'm missing out on. Like up until now, the game.
You fucking guys in your games.
Up until now.
I'm jealous.
You got to get on it for us. Call of Duty.
I know. I bought a motorcycle instead.
Yeah, I've been so focused and tunnel visioned into this bodybuilding lifestyle that it didn't really matter what the wife said. It didn't really matter what the kids wanted to do because this is what provides the income and the livelihood we have. So it's very important that we stay on track. Another thing that we mentioned earlier is like the loss of identity that you mentioned you'd been going through, Fouad.
Yeah.
I'm thinking about that now. I'm thinking like, I'm 36 years old. This is all I know. This is my identity. I am a bodybuilder. I'm the giant. I'm big, whatever. I think in one part that the release from that pressure would make me happy.
Yeah.
But then on the other side, I'm nervous that it won't. So it's like, that's why I said to Ben, I was in envy that he could make the decision to just like come away from it because
I was in a lucky way. I said to you back, I was in an easier position. Yeah. Because had I been on I was so far back from being a pro, and I have security in where I'm at in my work.
Yeah.
Even with Hostile, like it doesn't depend on me being a competitive bodybuilder. So that side of things, is easier for me. If I put myself in your shoes, I would have a much harder time to contend with the dilemma, like much harder.
Yeah. Jamie, I can tell you this from going through it for the last couple of years myself, there's a lot of this.
Yeah.
The peaks and valleys, and those peaks and valleys start to, the peaks start to stretch out more. Yeah. Like at first there's a lot of valleys. And then it becomes more peaks and less valleys, but it starts to convert as you kind of start to adjust to your new life. But man, in the beginning, it'd be like, I'd be happy for a day that I wasn't bodybuilding, I'm like, oh, I can go have dinner, I can do whatever I want. And then there'd be like a week where I was like, this fucking blows, I want to get back on stage, blah blah. And then there'd be another good day. And now there's like a string of days, right? There's like 3 or 4 days where I'm really happy, and then there might be one day where I'm like, fuck, I wish I was 300 pounds again. So like those peaks and valleys start to change, but it doesn't. When I hear people talk about it, and it's the way I thought about it was, it would just like one day you would just all of a sudden feel better, or one day your life would just be different, and it doesn't work that way. It's like it's time.
Really difficult.
Yeah,
it's really difficult to like I was just thinking now during you talking about that. I was just like, what? Like after I retire from bodybuilding, I go to like a different gym and train, blah blah blah. But then, like, I can imagine like looking around at people who look at you like you're not anything. Must be hard. Like someone's looking at you like, look at him, he's small compared to me. Like these are not like people. And in your mind, it's like that old story, man. I used to be big. Like fuck. Like I mean, I used to be big. Like it's letting go of that. It's like being like, you know what? Yeah. Like that must be difficult.
I'm finally getting to that place now. It's kind of like this. So I used to party a lot between age 20 and 25.
Yeah.
And when I got married, or when I met Summer, she'd be like, are you got that shit all out of your system? And I'm like, yeah, man. I'm like, you know what? I did enough partying, drinking, whatever you want to call it, girls. I did all of that. I'm good.
Yeah.
And it's kind of the same with bodybuilding now. And it's taken me time to get there, but I'm almost at the place now where I'm like, you know what? It was a part of my life that was fucking amazing. And now I'm good. I did it. I'm glad I did it. I'm glad I have that whole thing to remember and have as part of my history. And now I'm on to the next thing, but it took time. It took time to get there.
Like we have to like have some appreciation for what we've done. Because I've got friends like people like Steve Avery, Jamie, who are fucking like, they're like 50 cent now, and they chased their whole life for a pro card and it never came.
Yeah.
Like we have to be, we have to give ourselves some fucking props for even the distance we've traveled. And I think that's the most important thing about humans, is to be able to look at themselves and not compare, and be able to be proud of their accomplishments. Well, I think that's the most difficult part.
It's a double-edged sword, James, because so what we've done is, when you look at the scope of who are bodybuilders, what we've done is amazing, right? Because there's not that many bodybuilders who get to turn pro in the first place. Yep. And then if they do turn pro, maybe they don't get to the Olympia stage, or they don't ever win a show, or whatever you want to say, right? So what we've done is big, and it's if you just look at it on paper. But the problem is, and this is the problem and the benefit, is we hang out with a bunch of people that are all doing the same thing, so it doesn't seem like a big deal.
Yeah.
Right? Like any one of us individually in a normal crowd of people that works out are, I don't know, special, for lack of a better word, right? In our field, yeah. But because we all hang out and we're all pros and we've all, done shows and whatever, it just seems like you don't ever feel special about it.
Yeah, you got guys like Nick at a top 5 at Olympia first run.
Fucking Ian fucking top 7.
Yeah, Ian wins multiple shows a year.
So it just doesn't feel, so even though you've done something good, it doesn't feel good because all these other guys are doing it.
That's why we have to learn to master ourselves in a sense of comparison. Like we need to somehow, as people, just be able to like be really satisfied with what's happened within our square. Your own accomplishments, and it is hard because
I think I've reached that point. Like when I look at my career, I know I was never good as Nick or as good as Ian, like on paper or whatever. I didn't win as many shows, whatever you want to call it.
On paper, Ian.
On paper, Ian, not real life. No, but like what I'm saying is, like, I've taken stock of what my career was.
Yeah.
And I know exactly what it was, and I'm proud of it anyways. And I'm that's cool, right? Like, so, but it's taken time. Like that shit all takes time. Like, Jamie,
that was even hard for me, because, as I said, that's even hard for me because I was letting something go. In the end, I didn't really have a choice, but I was letting something go where I was like, still haven't achieved what my friends have.
You still kind of had
like the pro card wasn't like my main motivator.
No.
Would I have liked to have got one? I killed my kid. Of course, like I wouldn't have fucking been like pissed off about it for sure.
Yeah.
So it's like letting it go. But here's what I'll say, and I don't know if you'll agree with this, Fouad. But to Jamie's point, like that anxiety about an identity, the dilemma was worse than the jump. Like, thinking about it.
Yeah.
We've been talking about me stopping for like 6 months to a year.
Oh,
That
bro, I
was
remember
way
you,
worse.
you mentioned it a while back, and then
Once I did it, I was like, there was this like slight relief. I was like, oh, okay, it's done.
Well, and that's you're 100% right.
The limbo, the bit where I'm like, I think maybe I'll do one more. That's worse.
But it's like when you're going to break up with a chick and you got to tell her in the lead up, it's terrible. And then after you break up, you're like, whoa,
it's way worse than that.
No, but you know what I mean? Like,
so I'll say this. So Ben's right. Whatever you're thinking now about your identity and who you're going to be is probably fucking way worse than what will actually happen when you retire. Because you'll notice that, like, let's say my following or fan base or whatever you want to call it, it hasn't really changed. Same amount of people still watch my training videos. Same amount of people still like it's really the same. And my life has actually gotten better.
Yeah.
So I mean, Ben's right. The anticipation of what is the anxiety of what could happen to you is worse than what actually happens to you.
Yeah.
And then the hardest part is the limbo, because I'll tell you guys this. Probably the most depressed I've ever been in my life, where I actually had to talk to a psychologist, was about a year ago, maybe not even, before I actually made the official retirement, because going back and forth in limbo was fucking with me so much that actually finally making the decision actually freed me a little bit. So yeah, Ben's totally right, Jamie. You're probably more worried or more consumed by what it may be than what it actually is.
Another thing with your situation, Jamie, like, even when you downsize, you're still 6'5", you can't.
Yeah, you're lucky you get to put the tall, skinny guy.
You could be the tall, dark, and handsome. Like,
I'm just short and fucking stubby. It's not. You get to at least be fucking tall.
This industry cost me and Fouad. Yeah, right, Jamie. Yeah, some of us don't have hair left.
What? Might not cost me my hair, but it's cost me my forehead. Look at that fucking thing. I look like Gordon Ramsay.
Well, who took an axe to your forehead? What happened to your forehead?
That's what I mean. Like, it's like a
somebody put a dent in your fucking forehead.
Listen, you frown too much. You frown too much.
Wait, you can get that. You can get that fixed though. You can get the.
Can I get like pulled back? Like,
a little bit of Botox in there.
No, Dusty gets all these Botox done, doesn't he?
I noticed Dusty's a bit fresh-faced complexion.
Yeah, he is always fresh-faced.
I need to give what's the guy? Brad Rowe a call. I need to give him a call.
Yeah, he knows he's got all the Botox. Yeah. Oh, Brad, we know.
Yeah, see, the difference, Jamie, when you retire, you're going to become better looking.
Yeah, exactly. Because when I lose weight, I get much better.
It's going to work. It's worse for me and James. Become less.
Bro, there's no hope for me. There's zero hope for me.
Right now, James is a jacked bald guy. When he retires, he's just a skinny bald guy.
I'd be a skinny bald guy. And no one wants to.
He's going to turn into Paul.
Paul's got more hair than me.
Paul's got more hair than James.
Fuck, Jesus! I've been dealt a bad hand.
Yeah, I think you've mentioned this before, though, James. I think I'm definitely at the same point as you, in the sense that I know and I feel that I've invested far too much time and effort into this to do anything just yet, and I still need to be that tunnel vision guy.
You boys aren't done yet. You boys are not done. You're not.
I said to Jamie, like, really, I think you have to see what the next 2 years is. Yeah. So he's just signed a nice new contract with company. He's got 2 years there. See how that is, and then you'll know. I think the next 2 years is going to be a big.
Listen, there's something.
Sorry.
Something Cedric said to me after, and Johnny Jackson told him, and kind of told both of us after the Arnold one year. Me and Cedric both did poorly. Cedric did better than I did, but it was poorly for Cedric. He wanted to place higher, obviously. And I think I ended up in like 12th or some shit. And Johnny kind of almost pulled us both aside, and he was like, listen, this is a job. It doesn't matter if you win every show or if you place 5th at every show. This is a fucking job. You do this one and you go to the next one. And he's like, we have sponsors and we get paid, and you always want to get better. But the main objective is to earn a living doing what you love.
And if you are,
and that kind of sunk in for me. I'm like, listen, yes, I want to get better. Yes, I want to win shows. And I did go on to win a couple shows. But at the end of the day, what is the ultimate objective of your career? I got paid to lift weights from 2006 to 2020. And now is helping me build a business based on that last. So it's like, your career, yes, is based on winning because we're competitive and we want to win, but your career is also based on, I get to fucking work out and get paid for it.
I know, and that's
Like-
I pinch myself when I'm telling people what my job is.
Dude,
Yeah.
when I was,
Because people like obviously like know your bodybuilding, and they're like, so what do you do for work?
yeah,
Like,
how do you get paid? Yeah, that's what they always ask me too.
I'm like, well, I'm always like, I'm like, well, I'm one of the very lucky few.
I always, when
But,
people
hey,
ask
to
me,
go-
go ahead, Ben. Sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say, you know, it just reminded me because I was in the bathroom, but I was still listening to what James said, where he said, like, think about your box, right?
Yeah.
And I go, oh, I didn't get a pro card. Okay, if you take my coaching business away,
Yeah,
I still somehow, you fucking pay me a decent amount. Like, it's I get paid a good fucking contract. I don't have the pro card, but I still have a fucking.
you get paid to work out.
Professional, like I get paid to train.
You get paid
put
to do the same
content out.
shit as a
like,
pro.
What the? It's
Well, technically, you get
crazy.
paid to be my friend, but whatever.
I get paid by a bodybuilding company every month. I don't give it like fuck it. I'll
No,
take
but
it.
listen, I know that
Frustration.
maybe listen to people watching, it maybe sounds crass, like, oh, they're just doing it for the money. I'll tell you guys the truth, and you guys can take it for whatever it's worth. When I was 19 and I first started working out, I was like, I want to find a way to do this for a living because I don't want to do anything else. And it was partially because of my because of my anxiety, because I was like, I don't want to work with other people. I like being in the gym. It makes me feel comfortable.
Yeah.
So I was like, how can I do that? And then I was like, I want to own a gym. Then I can do that. And I'm like, I don't have any money to own a gym. So maybe if I become a pro bodybuilder, someone will use my name and we can start a gym. And then that'll be how that's the whole fucking way it started.
Yeah.
I just wanted to get paid to work out. So when people say, oh, ha, 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 your career sucked, I'm like, not really. I got fucking paid to work out for over a decade. Like,
oh, I was the same. I said to myself, I've done jobs, and I couldn't stand them. I was like, fuck this. I'm gonna win the British as a junior. I'm gonna get a little contract as a junior, then I'm gonna work up like Flex Lewis to win the overall, and then I'm gonna take that and I'm gonna make a career. And it happened.
Yeah.
It happened. Flex Lewis was my beacon of light. Like I watched Flex, like I saw him be a epic junior. So I was like, I'm going to win the juniors because you got to start on a good foot. Yeah. And then like I said, I saw him win the overall British 2007. I was like, I'm just going to do that. He's laid out the fucking template for us. Just copy him.
Yeah. So the
the
competitive side of it is important because we're all competitive people. But like, what Johnny Jackson was saying is, look, this is a career too. Yeah. This isn't a game where it's just about placing. It's about what do you have to offer people, and can you continue to do this as a living for a number of years? Also, like you look at your career, shows are like here, and here, but it's everything in between to enjoy. Yeah, like enjoy the days of being a bodybuilder. Like every day you get up and you're drinking fucking, I don't know, like a protein shake, taking a shit on the bog, fucking going to the gym and training. Like that's all to be taken in. I've told the story before. A friend of mine, I was getting ready for a show. And I think I just finished a workout and I had to go tanning. And I was with a friend of mine. And I was like, fuck, man, I got to go tanning. I don't want to go tanning. I just want to go home. And he was like, well, you can go work my fucking 10-hour shift if you want. And I'll go fucking tanning. And I was like, no, it's okay. I'm good. I'll go fucking. It's true. I'll go to tanning. Sometimes you got to be around some other people who do a different field. That's right. And don't get me wrong. Some of them people probably feel just as passionate about their field as us. Yeah. But for us particularly, we're like, oh, fuck that. Like, I know people that love working uptown in London in an office and, making their money that way. I dread it. I could never do it. Yeah. But it's understanding what you can do and what you can't do. Unfortunately, we took what we could do and made something of it. It's funny you said that, James, too, because the one piece of advice I get people message me all the time is like, it's my first show. What should I do? Honestly, it's so fucking cheesy. But the number one piece of advice I give people is like, honestly, just take a step back and try and enjoy it, because it's going to go by in a fucking flash. Like it'll be gone and you'll forget it all. So if you're doing a show, whatever level you're at, because I remember there's a couple shows I did where I actually sat down and looked around. I remember the Olympia, the first time I did the Olympia, or the only time I did the Olympia. I sat down, I looked around who was there and what was going on. And I really tried to, it's one of the memories I remember because I actually sat and consciously tried to take it in. Right. Yeah. So I try and tell people that now when they ask me, like even Nick last year, I said, hey man, good luck at the Arnold. Make sure you take a minute to take it all in. And then I asked him afterwards, he's like, I didn't do that. I didn't care. I just want to win.
Listen, he's proper locked in. Like when we did when we did the athletes meeting, bruv, he didn't even stand up once. He just kept himself comfortable. He was like, I'm coming in dry tomorrow. I'm not going to waste any energy. And there's me like jumping around, shaking everyone's hand, trying to enjoy it. Personal. But it cost you so much energy. I swear he had the right tactics. But it's true. Like I remember like sitting in I tell you when I sat at the Olympia in the athletes meeting before to announce like the order of everything, and you're just looking around at all your peers and you're like, fucking hell, it's him. It's her. It's fucking, and I was just doing the same. I think the first Olympia is kind of a screw up anyway for most people. Most people just going to go there. It's going to be so much to take in. You're lucky to fucking place if you do. And then you just got to learn to get used to it. And then next year or whenever you get back there, try and fucking improve upon it. But I'm still glad with the experience.
I think maybe it's a little different for me and you, James, because we're not from the US.
Yeah.
Because I think a lot of these guys get to see each other sometimes, like, because they're in the US together. Maybe they see each other at gyms or they see each other at events. For me, when I went to the Olympia, it was like the first time I'd seen a lot of these guys in real life.
In the flesh, yeah.
So it's like a little bit shocking at first.
It is. It's mad just to like be considered. You're one of them. Like it's mad. Like that's my Olympia medallion there. And like, I don't know, you can just look at that shit and be like, yeah, man, I fucking been on the Olympia stage. You know what I mean? It's good. It's good, man. It's good.
We've answered 2 questions. Let's try and answer a couple more before we go. British versus American snacks. Who wins? Well, this isn't going to be fair. None of you are going to say Americans got all the snacks.
No, because I don't think American snacks are actually good. They're all kind of just overly saturated with shit.
There's so much selection.
They're literally overly saturated with shit for us.
No,
James.
Whereas ours are
I tell you what, I could be living. Wait, living here, I miss.
That's right. Ben has one.
I tell you what. I tell you what. What Jamie mentioned earlier, he's like, "Oh, we'll go for a coffee," and it cracked me up because I was like, I totally get what Jamie was doing, right?
Yeah.
And then I go for a coffee. I want to go sit down in the tea rooms.
Oh, I don't do that shit. I just go through the drive-through.
Coffee. And you just went so American. You're like, oh, Jamie, you went for a drive-through, and I'm like, oh, you're missing the point. You're missing the point of going for a coffee with your missus.
No. Wait, let me explain. I just want to explain that real quick. The reason I said that is because I do the same thing Jamie does, but me and Summer will go for a drive. So like we grab a coffee in the drive-through instead of sitting in. We'll just go for a drive and talk.
Okay.
So we're still doing the same thing Jamie's doing. Go on.
Well, I was asking my wife last night. Actually, we were watching something on Netflix, and it was a British thing, and they went to a tea rooms, and I'm like, and I grew up in like a village in England, and we had a tea room. It's like a little quaint, like with a cup of tea where they put it on a saucer for you. They bring out a slice of coffee, walnut cake. And I'm like, I missed that. Because over here, it's just Starbucks and fucking fast everything, this, that. And I'm like, I miss a nice little village with a picket fence out and
a homemade cake.
Like the one I went to was like they had a cricket pitch out on the opposite side of the road. And you could sit and watch the cricket. You could watch the cricket game, have a slice of cake, a cup of tea. They bring a pot of tea and you pour it. I'm like, fuck, I missed that.
You know, the rest of the world.
I missed that.
Can I tell you, it seems like the rest of the world does things so much better. My aunt came here from Lebanon, and I don't drink that much tea, right? My aunt comes here from Lebanon. She's here for like 3 or 4 months. I started drinking tea every day because I would go see her. And after every single meal, she would make a fresh pot of tea, and she would be like, okay, let's have tea now after we eat.
Bro, that was my mum all day. That was my mum. My mum makes 5 cups, 5 bowls, 5 pots a day. Fucking hell.
You know how I know I'm British through and through. And now that I've retired, like, people take the piss. Oh, you didn't retire. You're not a pro. Okay, fuck off. Now I'm not competing. Fuck off. I have my meal 5, right? I have 5 meals a day. After meal 4, my Phoenix is in bed. And I'll make Denise a chamomile tea, and I'll make myself a English breakfast tea.
Okay.
And I'll sit in bed with my mug of hot tea and sip it. And I'm like, there's no, like, this is just, I used to have a cup of tea before I went to bed, like growing up as a kid. My mum would make me a cup of tea, go to bed.
When I go
it's come back to me.
When I go to the Arnold UK, we're all going to go for a cup of tea.
The question is, guys, can you just have the tea without the biscuits?
No, that's bullshit.
I do, but it's infinitely better with chocolate digestive biscuits dunked in it.
Do you guys put milk in your tea?
Yeah.
English tea.
I don't put milk in my tea.
Yeah, you have like a Turkish tea.
I've never, no, not Turkish tea, regular tea.
Turkish tea, bro. That's what they do.
No. I'm telling you, I have regular tea.
No, that is regular
No,
tea.
no,
That's
no.
what Turkish people do.
You gotta have English breakfast tea or builder's tea.
Builder's
one
tea,
sugar.
one sugar. Well, I thought it was milk and 2 sugars.
Milk and 2 sugars. There you go.
Yeah, I heard you say that on the
I do
Telegram
sweet
thing.
milk.
You're like milk
Yeah,
and 2
yeah.
sugars. I'm like, there's actual guys that like that's their thing is milk and 2 sugars.
Yeah, man. Like normal with builder, who has their arsehole hanging out because their jeans are too low. You know, you get builder's bum. That's they go in the cafe, milk and 2 sugars, please, love.
Yeah,
I've never had milk in my tea, and it's not Turkish tea.
Oh,
it's
it's
just
so
regular
good.
tea.
No, I'm just taking a piss because you know, like if you get a Turkish tea when you're in Turkey, they're
The
never
little
with
ones.
milk. Yeah, and they're obviously just hot teas.
Yeah,
So they're not like British teas. So I was trying to play a racial joke with you and tea joke.
Oh, I missed it. Went over my head.
Yeah, because you're not even Turkish. So I just fucked
No,
up.
so I didn't know what you were saying. So now you're being even more racist. You're like,
I'm tired. This is the brush. I'm just literally painting you with the same brush.
all right, let's do one more and then we'll go. Man, how do I get on the podcast? Well, you got to, I don't know. How do you get on the podcast?
We've had someone on before. We've had a couple of people, remember, from like
donations directed to Fouad Abiad at hostile.com.
The larger the donation, the more chance.
Not guaranteed.
When you would drink and go out, did you do it the day of or took that day off? No, I would do it the day of and then take the next day off.
Yeah.
What are you on about?
Train, go out.
So like I would train,
I
I would train arms, so my arms look good at the bar. And then I would put on a tight shirt and I would go to the bar and get fucking absolutely annihilated. And then I would wake up the next day.
You did a James Joe Howe at the Arnold.
Yeah.
You would put the arms up, tightest t-shirt you can.
Jamie, I had a shirt like that when I was 20. It was that tight. It was
like an occlusion band at the top.
Yeah.
Yeah, little.
But I would always
illusions.
But I think that's why Sunday always became my day off because I did that so early on in my career. I would drink Saturday night.
Yeah.
Sunday was my hangover day, and then Monday I'd get back to work.
Yeah.
I think I would do the same. I'd eat a good meal and then go out and get bladdered.
Yeah. And then you eat a good meal, and then after you're done drinking, you have like a huge meal before bed.
I'd have a kebab at like 4 a.m.
Yeah.
Like fucking
exactly.
One eye like that.
Are you going to drink when I come to the UK? Oh, you're going to be competing after. We can celebrate.
Well, I'll do a Steve Avery used to have a cigarette and a beer after prejudging. Yeah, that's what he used to, because they would hold that they'd have the competitions at like a theatre. So as soon as you got off stage, straight to the bar, a little quick pint and a cigarette, go back, win the show, half cut, loves it.
Wow.
Man, that's hilarious.
Yeah, because you feel proper chilled. Like, imagine having a beer after like prejudging. You feel great. Fucking hell, I might do that.
Who is it? Was it Justin Harris that says that beer is one of the best hydration fluids you can drink? I can't remember. Someone rehydrates with, is like not opposed to using beer to rehydrate with. I swear I heard it. I can't remember. I don't want to misquote somebody. But
Justin Harris got misquoted there, but it's probably not.
Sorry, Justin. If it's not Justin,
sorry.
Nope. Okay,
that's like they say coffee is actually really good at hydrating you. It's just a bit.
No, it's the opposite.
No, apparently not. Like initially,
caffeine's dehydrating.
No,
caffeine post workout with carbs actually helps to glycogen replenish.
Yeah, but a coffee by itself is not going to.
It depends. Listen, there's this. You have to look it up. Look it up. Like after the podcast, look up if coffee is good for hydrating.
Look it up now.
No. Let's just see.
All right.
I do know that caffeine helps. Caffeine does help with glucose uptake.
I know Stan Effley's quite a big fan of that. But this is actually, we needed this today because we haven't done no type-ins on the podcast today. You know, like we haven't done one, have we? Nobody looks on Google and shit. Normally, Fouad always does a little Google search, doesn't he?
No titty search.
There's no titty search today, so we kind of need a coffee search.
So this says.
Oh, we did crumpets. We did a crumpet search.
Drinking caffeine containing beverages as part of a normal lifestyle doesn't cause fluid loss in excess of the volume ingested.
There you go.
While caffeinated drinks may have a mild diuretic effect, meaning that they cause the need to urinate, they don't appear to increase the risk of dehydration. So they do have a diuretic effect.
Maybe.
No, maybe it says.
but they don't increase the risk of dehydration. like
Well,
people think.
Isn't that the
No,
same? Isn't
not
that
as
the
bad.
same
Not
as-
as not as bad as people think.
But and I might sound really stupid here saying this. If you were to drink a 20-ounce glass of water,
Yeah.
does that not also increase diuresis?
Yeah, you'd piss your pants off.
Right, you're gonna pee after you drink. If you don't drink it at all, you're not gonna pee as much as if you do drink it.
I'm not
Right?
even gonna. I'm not even gonna bro
Listen,
science this one.
there's
All
a
I know
lot
You
is
see what I
things
mean?
that
You
all-
see what I'm saying?
all
though,
I know
right?
is
So
for years and years and years, it's been known that caffeine is has a diuretic effect.
They all
makes
say
me
that.
shit my
What I'm
pants.
saying is, though, that you will never piss out the same amount of fluid that you intake, right?
Yeah, so the
Yes,
net,
it
the
did say
net,
that,
the
yeah.
net is there's no net loss, right?
Yeah.
There's no net loss.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what are you saying? We shouldn't drink water, just coffee?
Just drink coffee. You basically, I'm excusing you. I'm helping you out. I'm saying you can fucking drink coffee all day and you're fine.
Drink coffee,
That's
smoke
the scenario.
cigarettes.
Yeah.
No.
Imagine this. Imagine how you'd smell after that all day.
Bro, it feels like I've been doing this for years already. You know, what are you talking about?
What is with this toothbrush question we keep getting? Okay, last one. Is Hostile becoming a full-on apparel brand? I don't want to finish with something like that.
That's boring.
Yeah, it is boring. And no, we're not becoming a full-on apparel brand. We are a supplement brand first. Do you think it's? Oh, I don't want to do that. We're gonna end up fighting.
Oh, let's do it.
No.
We might not. We might not.
It's you and Ben, isn't it? You're gonna go at each other.
Do you think it is possible to build a good set of legs without back squatting?
Yes.
Yes.
I said this today because we actually had this. This is
We
one
all
of the
agree. I'm
conversations
just. I know.
we've
I
got-
know.
yeah,
I know.
This conversation was also in the Telegram.
Oh,
today.
was that the question that you were avoiding?
Yeah.
Oh,
No,
I only squat because I like it.
I know.
think
We
it's
all
better
we all
than-
agree. I was just fucking around.
In fact, hey, no, just as a point to prove my point, I actually took squats out of Nick's program. You know, Nick,
Yeah. My friend Nick.
or your employee, Nick.
Yeah. Okay.
Right.
Whatever.
Yeah. All your friends are actually employees. That's how it works.
That's how it was. They're still friends.
That's how I get friends.
I
just
employ
employ
my
them.
friends.
Yeah, I actually had him pull
He are
back.
now
I actually-
friends.
he was doing like multiple sets of squats. I had him only do one and then move on to that squat pro instead because I think it's going to be better for his leg development.
Yeah. He squats a lot. He squats a lot of weight for his body weight. But I feel like
he does.
it's not. I feel like it's not.
It's not essential.
I feel like it's not working. It's weird. Sometimes I feel like guys can have a really strong squat, but it doesn't translate to their legs. Maybe translate more to their ass.
I think
You have
if
good, you have
if you
good
do-
legs for your body, though, Ben. Like your legs are proportion, bigger than the rest of your body.
But for what I squat,
No, but I mean, in proportion to the rest of your body, your quads are the biggest body part you have.
Yeah, I think if you are heel elevating squatting, you will always get pretty. I think I've yet to see someone who heel elevate squats frequently with good weight and reps not have good legs. But I've seen a lot of people that squat regularly with not good legs
Well,
I've
I think
also seen Sasan never squat
and
Yeah,
have great
has
legs.
the most ridiculous
Well, I
legs
think
I've ever seen.
I think if you use a hack squat is actually better for quad development anyway.
It's kind
So-
of it kind of mimics that knee flexion that you would try to get out of a heel elevated squat.
That's why I want Tyler to get me a squat pro.
They're like the one I have, but the new one, the Rogers. Yeah.
Yeah, the Rogers one. I think we got one of them coming. I think I got one. of them
I got the
coming.
generation 1 that has been altered, but it's fucking. I
You've
love
got
it.
a modified.
Oh
fucking
man, you've modified the fuck
transformer.
out of that thing. You've put bars on
I
bars.
want to come play on that.
It's got everything on it, man.
You can do back. You can do back on that. You said right.
Yeah,
You
the
do
rows and
rows.
shit.
He put handles on it for rows. You can do Viking press. I use that same bar for squats now, or you can do the handles in front.
I've done my bear squat that we used. I've done Viking press on that.
Yeah.
That works pretty well.
Yeah, you can do that too. Yeah. No, and he put a belt squat on it. He built a belt squat into that fucking thing.
That's cool.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
You do RDLs.
Dude,
and
I'm
shit on
telling
that.
you. I'll show you. I'll take a video of it. I'll
Who
show
is
you.
it? Who did it?
This engineer that works at my brother's warehouse, not his warehouse, his factory.
He
So
loves it.
they do a lot of work on electrical wheelchairs and shit like that. But he's also been he's built race cars and shit. Like he's just one of those
Yeah.
guys that like has very, very just good with his
an eye
hands.
for the fucking.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
Get him to get his hands on your bike then.
So yeah, so he took a look at the Squat Pro Generation 1, and he's like, hey, if we do this and do this, you
You'll
can
be able to do
have
this.
a belt squat and you
Does
can have a fucking Viking
Does
press.
he he trains, right? He must be
trains
able
in
to
there,
train to be able
Yeah.
to. I'm gonna say, because if you just got a straight engineer in there, you have to have somebody that understands bodybuilding to.
Yeah, like he's not hardcore, but he's in there working out every day, so he gets what we're trying to do. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's pretty cool.
I hear that. That's cool.
Anyway, okay, boys. Jamie, it's good to see you, man. Thanks for coming on.
Appreciate it.
Very good to see you, Jamie.
And Ben.
Great to catch up.
I'll see you guys soon.
Definitely.
Nice one, boys.
Okay, boys.
See you guys.
Talk
Have a
soon.
good one.
Bye.
Thanks. Be safe.
Thanks for watching. Please subscribe, share with your friends, and like the video. And if you get a chance, check out the description for all the different links to all the different places you can find Hostile and myself. And lastly, check out hostile.com for our new line of supplements and all of our apparel and gear. Thanks again for watching.